Hey guys, and welcome to Death Before Dishonour Season 3 Finals. It is time. I don't think I've ever been quite so excited to stream for you guys today. We have a ridiculous level of quality players coming in today. In round 1, we have A-Move Hacker up against King of the Dead. And in round 2, we have a repeat of Season 2's finals with Flying Taco taking on the current king of Death Before Dishonour, Chosen One. It is going to be pretty extreme. It is, of course, a best of 3 semi-finals or a best of 5 finals. Looks like King of the Dead has already joined us. Hey, King. I know Mr. A-Move is on his way. The maps for round 1 is going to be Troll Country, and I'll quickly followed by Pillar of Bone and Mirror Woods. Should be some good stuff. It's going to be intense, going to be insane, and I'm all about it. Hey, Renan, nice to see you in chat, my dude. Hope you're doing all good. So, of course, this is indeed the finals. For those who don't know what Death Before Dishonour is, not only is it a badass saying, it is also the name of my tournaments. So we do 4 tournaments in a season, and the winner of each one of those becomes a champion, and the champions come together in the grand finals, which we have here, which is the 4 previous champions going toe-to-toe once and for all, trying to prove who the beast is. What's up, Stormrunner? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Yo from King of the Dead. Now, funny thing is, I just played in Darv Plays' King of the Hill. If you want to see me get absolutely annihilated by your Hadries, feel free to go check out the first game over there. But more importantly, King of the Dead plus A-Move just played a game, literally like 30 minutes ago or so. So they've already had their little bit of warm-up. I believe A-Move did go undefeated in that stream. He did very good. He is certainly on the top form here, firing on all cylinders. So we'll wait for him to join and we'll get this running. Troll Country is a classic. It is indeed. We always start most of our streams on Troll Country. It's just a nice quick battle to start things off. And in comes Slapjanus. I love the name, which is of course A-Move. Hey again. Hola. I saw the warm-up. So, who is going to take the first spot in the final? Should be a good one here. King of the Dead and A-Move very evenly matched, in my opinion. A-Move, though, is on absolute fire today. You should have seen him in the King of the Hill. Won, I think, 3 or 4 games back-to-back in a row, but it's a pretty unorthodox picks, which he does do quite a lot. But King of the Dead, once again, not only just incredible with the undead factions, but incredible with quite a few factions in general. So, King to pick and ban first. We are going to be doing a pick and double ban system with, if you know, best of 3. If it does go to the final game, we will do blind picks. Adds a little bit of spice to these games there. Let's see what's going on. Oh my god, A-Move managed to change name like 9 times per week. He does indeed. It can make it hard to pin him down and figure out who he is when you're trying to invite him to stuff. Raptor, how's it going, my dude? Hope you're all good, man. I haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're all nice and safe in these turbulent times. In Dutch, Slapjanus means wussy or weak person. Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Davina, nice to see you as well. Played in the King of the Hill the other day, which was some good fun. But yeah, hey everyone. Pacta. You need to advertise your castings. I did, man. I have indeed. Oh, do you mean my castings of single games or castings of these? I did pop this in all the Discords, hopefully. But thank you. Thank you, Pacta, regardless, for doing that. So, it looks like King of the Dead is going to be going to the Tomb Kings here, and is banning Skaven and Coast. Okay, I can see that. Doesn't really want to be outshot by those type of factions. Could be interesting to see if A-Move actually goes with his favourite Dowie here. They can do some decent work going with those kind of Ranger Vanguard builds and so forth in this matchup. I quite like indeed. Have you picked the maps once again? Unfortunately, I have picked the maps for the tournaments. Raptor does get to gloriously pick the maps in King of the Hills, but in tournaments we've gone relatively sensible. So in this first best of 3 between A-Move and King of the Dead, we have Troll Country, Pillar of Bone and Mirror Woods. Then in round 2 between Flying Taco and Chosen, which is going to be an incredible game because those guys were the finalists in Season 2's final, going 3-2 in the finals in a ridiculous set of close games. So those guys are going to be meeting in the semi-final this time, up on Outdoor Outskirts, Valley of Thieves, and El Anguil, or Languil, whatever you want to say it. People seem to pronounce it in multiple different ways. And in the finals will take place on Glacial Lake, River Maxon, Alpine Ridge, Central Chaos Wastes, and Storm Demon. Which is a pretty badass name, Storm Demon. And he is going Tomb King, so it looks like a move is in fact going for the Beastmen. Oh, looks like my phone is struggling to charge, just pop that out there. You made it just in time, you did indeed! You did indeed. And you've made it for the start of this tournament. Apologies for a little bit of delay as well, getting the Season 3 finals out, of course. The heat's much more easier to organise when you have the finals. You're trying to get 4 different people, plus myself, to meet all on the same day at the same time. Can be rather tough, but don't worry, we will have the Season 4 kicking off relatively soon as well, probably in the next couple of weeks. We're probably going to do a few clan wars in the meantime, though, and finally get some of those up and running, which would be some good fun. So we haven't unfortunately been able to get any of those out just yet, but hopefully we'll be playing up against Extreme Meme Team first with Clan DBD, which is my own clan, which should be some pretty good fun. And I'm certainly excited to do some other best of 5s on the channel as well. So if you do want to get involved in that type of stuff, please do feel free to join my Discord. There's a link just down in the description below. And yeah, you get to chill out, hang out with us, and join all these cool events. It's good to see so many new people and old people around. What's up, El Halcon? How's it going, buddy? Hope you're all good in the hood. I'll have to certainly make sure we try and get you into the next season of this. We've got some of your clan mates fighting today. We do have Flying Taco representing the Extreme Meme Team, Chosen representing ODM. We have AIMA, which I think stands for Blood, but I could be completely wrong there. Being represented here by King of the Dead. And A-Move representing all the moves in the A categories. Looks like King of the Dead is ready. Just waiting on Mr. A-Move and we'll get this bad boy started. I'm bashing some stunties while I enjoy the finals. That's just the perfect dream right there, Pactor. The perfect dream. Park Map, how's it going, dude? You've made it just in time. Looks like King of the Dead is ready. We're just waiting on A-Move and we're going to get these finals underway. This may be the most excited I've been for a stream. We have 4 ridiculously top tier players who would all tear me apart very, very quickly. So it's going to be interesting to see these guys go toe to toe and try and scrap it out here for the grand finals and that glorious title, which is currently held by Chosen One. I believe Zach B. Sane did win the first ever Death Before Dishonour way back in the day when we started up the channel. Let's go, Taco! He will be appearing in round 2. I'm really excited for that game. It's just the finals last time. I don't know if they can be topped. It's good if someone manages to top the finals from last season. I'm going to be very, very impressed indeed. Let's make sure we have no questions in Discord, as I do have a couple of messages. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, looks like I just seen Pactor pop up my little message advertising. Thank you, Mr. Pactor. I did actually advertise in the streamer category, I think, of that, but still, every little helps. Good to see so many people here as well. And a massive thank you, by the way, to you guys for constantly tuning in. See a lot of familiar faces and new faces as well. We've managed to reach over 400 subscribers now, which is pretty damn awesome. I do have a little special surprise as well for when we reach 500. I am recently downloaded this, I suppose it's more of a creative platform than a game called Dreams on the PlayStation. As unfortunately, it's not on PC, where you can pop in there, create your own games, literally all the way down from the music to the animation to the sculpting, painting, everything. It is crazy huge. It's going to take me quite a long time to get my head around it, but I am going to be creating a Warhammer game on there and showing it off on the channel, which should be some good fun. I think the working title is Ghosts of Kurnos. And yeah, it's going to be sent Athel Lauren, so any Wood Elf fans out there, you will probably enjoy. But I don't want to put too much on it yet, as I've even just started, and it's a very complex game to understand. Looks like A-Move taking his time, forming his army, which is all good. Taking this dead serious. Just going to have a quick sip of my drink. So we are playing Warhammer Cup rules today, which is a rule set originally invented with Shetland Apache and a few other people as well. We will eventually move over to the banner rules at some point when I delve into them a little bit more properly. But until then, yeah, Warhammer Cup rules, best of 3 semi-finals and a best of 5 finals. The best of 5 is something we brought in after Season 1, and it definitely works. It always makes some really good fun. King of the Dead biting at the bit here, getting ready to fight, readying up. And we will see. Bastion, how's it going, dude? Welcome, welcome. I'm happy with all elves, otherwise I'm unhappy like this game. Well, Beastmen fight with elves, so does that somehow count? I don't know how, but perhaps. Hopefully aim move is all good. Might have just gone off to grab a sip of water or something before the battle. Double check, got no messages. Looks like we're all good. And waiting to go. I want some vampires, so it looks like A move is ready. Vampires, man, are a very strange faction. They're pretty damn good. I think top tier, up there with the Dark Elves in my humble opinion. A lot of people don't like them. I'm not the biggest fan of facing them. It can be a bit of a grind trying to drag them down, but that kind of, you know, leans into the undead style anyway. A lot of the undead factions can force you into a long grindy game. But certainly very cool, very thematic. I love pirates, so what's not to love about vampire, you know, pirates controlling zombies. So here we go, Troll Country, the beautiful, beautiful map. We do have some hills dotted around and some light trees as well for some sneaky stabbings. There's also the option for vanguarding as well into the corners, but for the most part, this is a relatively straightforward map, and I love to use it at the start of my streams because the battle basically takes place on this small killing pit right here. A real blood and thunder affair as the armies just ram into each other, crash together, and start tearing each other limb from limb. But we will have to see. Didn't we have a best of 7 once? Not sure who you're talking to, maybe me, Stormrunner. I don't think we have played a best of 7 yet. We will try and do best of 7s and best of 5s on the channel, so if you are interested in that type of thing, please do get in contact with me. We're trying to showcase some of the top players. And we already did one between Flying Taco and Suave, and it was a really cool set of games there. I believe it was 3-1 to Mr. Taco. Wait for the players to load in. And don't worry, this has nothing to do with internet connection and so forth. It's not indicative of any lag or anything. The loading in screen at the initial bit right here is just on people's computers. And luckily my computer is relatively new, so I do hop in quite quickly. Looks like the beautiful little Tomb King Screaming Skull has appeared up here, so I have to hop in here. I'm praying for Screaming Meme Catapults, because I always love to see those guys in action. But here we go. King of the Dead, a master of the undead factions, as you'd expect. I don't actually think he plays Vampire Counts that much, but Vampirates and the Tomb Kings in particular are his jam. We have the grand DJ himself here, K-Tep, on top of his mighty swirling whirl of skeletons here. Very interesting pick, bringing the Sandstorm. Does of course have Arcane Conduit and all the expected spells with Protection, Desecration, Curse Blades, all that good stuff. So very unique pick. Some people consider him a bit of a meme, but up against the Beastmen, he will tear apart Bestigors and so forth rather effectively. He's going to be protected here by a Tomb Prince and also a Necrotech down on the ground to help out the constructs. But Tomb Prince, one of the best heroes in the game in my opinion. They're fast, anti-large, really good bodyguards for characters such as the Grand Master himself right here. We do have some sneaky snakes in the centre with halberds as well for a bit of protection, as well as a bone giant who's going to be doing some pretty decent long-range damage. Now for the main battle line, we do have Tomb Guard mixed in here, so fairly elite troops, which is nice to see, backed up by skeleton spearmen, including the Regiment of Renowned version. Really nice defensive formation as well. You can see it's a little bit staggered to as well to avoid any nasty magic spells. We do have Nekakar horsemen in the back lines as well for a bit of backline protection, and yeah, really nice build. Going to be quite compact and hard to break down. A very much come at me bro build, which I like to see. Now for the forces of A move and the Beastmen here, looks like he's going for a large vanguard force, which is often the way to go. Ungor spearheads, rocking up the main battle line with some Gore herds mixed in there as well. Unfortunately, none of the Regiment of Renown ones. We do have a couple units of the Ungor Raiders, loads of Razor Gores in the back line, which are one of the most cost-effective units in the entire game, in my opinion. Very cheap, armor-piercing, and can pin in troops. Brave Shaman of Wild come in with that big summon. Razor Gore Chariots, Morga the Shadowgave, and a Gorbel. Very nice to see him in action. So we also have some Hounds in the distance, but the Beastmen are really going to struggle to break through the elite front line of King of the Dead here. Those Tomb Guard will tear apart Gore Herds and Ungors very, very effectively. Some summons would do pretty good though. Cygor summon could beat down the Tomb Guard very effectively from long range. Hounds just waiting in the wings for some perfect targets, and the Grandmaster already up to 19 kills here, doing pretty decent damage. Razor Gores are going to be a pretty good answer actually to pushing through the front line if they can catch these guys on the charge, do some nice burst damage and start to cycle. Looks like the snakes are starting to retaliate though. They're going to be perfect for dealing with these guys, but very quick movement there from A move. Manages to pull back the piggies, pull them into this gore herd, but they have now been caught again and wrapped back inside, which is a little bit unfortunate. Big overload coming on the left-hand flank of this formation, pretty much ignoring the right-hand side, which if you're the faster force, you can tend to do. All the piggies trying to stamp down the skeleton spearmen as quickly as possible, as the chariot does come in as well. Tomb Prince is here though to retaliate and instantly pops on top of this Cygor who has been summoned here in the main line, which is quite interesting play. I've seen a lot of people doing this recently, using this Cygor in close combat rather than from long range. Now we do see the Grandmaster doing some pretty good fat DJ beats right here, dropping down these Ungor Raiders who take a huge amount of damage very early on, and he's actually a perfect answer for them. We have some Chaos Warhounds crisscrossing here in the back line, trying to find the perfect targets. And the Gorbel is also taking quite a big damage. Lovely swirling sandstorm here, coming in here and just wrecking these Ungor Spearmen and other units. But a little bit of friendly fire as well, but, you know, what would Warhammer be without friendly fire? It looks like the Beastmen are starting to falter a little bit, but a summon of Chaos Spawn keeping them in the game so far. Surrounding that Bone Giant, slowly going to be beating him down as he does fling one of those Chaos Spawn quite far there. Gorbel did a decent job in the front line to be very effective up against all these troops here. The Cygor got absolutely hammered by a combination of that Tomb Prince, who's very healthy coming into this late game, plus King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. And looks like the Beastmen are starting to falter just a little bit here, in my opinion. I think the battle slightly favouring the Tomb Kings right now. Of course, the Beastmen are going to have a lot of troops rallying back to the main battle line as well. Sneaky Snake still relatively healthy, and a very healthy Tomb Prince there. Fortunately, nothing has managed to hop on top of the Grandmaster himself yet, who's still dropping those fat beats into the Ungor Raiders, getting some really good value, up to 115 kills here. Very, very deadly indeed. Now, one thing we do need to take into account is the cycle charging coming in from the Beastmen could be very important coming into the late game. We still have one set of... Oh no, it looks like both of the Chaos Spawn have popped in. We still have one Cygor who can drop in as well. Chaos Spawn desperately trying to get some value before they do disappear into this sweet night. Doing some pretty good damage to these knights here, who do have a restore on them. Going to be keeping those guys fighting for as long as possible. And they're going to be very key in dragging down all these nasty chariots. Of course, we have the two here. We still have the units as well, probably roaming around somewhere, unless it has been forced off the field. He has such janky attack animations here on top of his floating Nimbu right here. But does come in. It looks like Gorbel gets slammed to the ground. Unfortunately, this guy has some pretty terrible mechanics, unfortunately, of him being thrown around. But he's such a cool model, and has some really cool animations as well. Now he's really laying the smack down here on this Tomb King's Lord. Necrotech trying to get back and protect him, but it's getting destroyed slightly. This Tomb Prince needs to get over here fast. He's the #1 answer to this Gorbel right here, and he needs to get in here and save his Liege Lord. But unfortunately, a nice rolling animation from the Gorbel, who is currently causing terror and unbreakable, doing some pretty decent damage. But in comes the Tomb Prince, nice reaction, plus the Sneaky Snakes trying to stop that Goonin attempt here. Cygor has been summoned once again into combat here. I'm never sure if this is the best move to do, or to pen him back in distance and get those rock throws. Probably depends, I suppose, on the situation. Could go toe-to-toe with the Bone Giant there briefly before falling back. Unfortunately, that Gorbel probably going to get dragged down here, but can he drag down the Tomb King Lord in retaliation? Has managed to hop onto him very effectively. Side by side here by the Shadow Gate, and down he goes. Did manage to get slaying in there, and that's actually pushed the balance of power in favour of the Beastmen, but of course they still have this summon active. Game's still relatively close, but undead factions, when they lose their leader, can be in serious problems, and now the Ungor Raiders are uncontested here. They have to get in some decent shots to the Bone Giant, and you know, all the little ones do add up from their shots. They're not be doing massive AP damage though. A little bit of a swing and a miss there, but as the Gorbel does get forced off the field here, so do some Razorgore herds, and Morgan the Shadowgate now surrounded by some nasty Ushopsi who have been summoned into the play, and also the Bone Giant, but he's a very sticky customer indeed, Morgan, with that regeneration and very fat health pool overall. Should be able to hold for a relatively long time. And then come the Bray Shamans and the Razorgore herds, just trying to get a nice little bit of constant cycle charging and break off the snakes. They can force off the snakes and out-survive the Ushopsi. It's really only the Tomb Prince they're going to have to worry about. Up on the high ground here, we have the ultimate damp lettuce / wet noodle contest, as Skeleton Spearmen go up against Ungor Spearmen herds, and it's just going to be a very slow grind fest down there. Looks like Razor Gore Chariots up to 36 kills are returned to the field, but the Beastmen being forced off here, and Morga is currently standing alone in the midst of all these Tomb Kings, and most of the Beastmen have unfortunately gone, so really nice snipe attempt there to bring himself back into the game, but it looks like the Tomb Kings did manage to rally relatively quickly. The Shopsy though are going to be coming down here, probably pushing that balance power once back into the middle. So good luck, have fun in chats, which is always what I love to see. Sportsmanship is very highly valued on the channel here, and that's the best way to get involved and of course get invited back to such events. So overall, Tomb King's starting to break as well a little bit, but the Tomb Prince is going to be pretty decent up against Morga here. He's very tanky, but he doesn't do the most damage. The Bone Giant is once again firing into these rallying units, trying to break them before they can return to the fold. And there is not much left on the battlefield for either player. If we take a nice overarching view, a lot of the Beastmen's troops are just being forced off and then coming back in drips and drabs, which is really not what you want, as then they get forced off each time they attack. But it looks like King of the Dead is going to take this first game. Balance power still relatively even. That is simply due to how healthy the Shadow Gave is right here. But he does get punted, unfortunately, a little bit by these snakes. And he's going to have a really tough time here dragging down all these units. Now, on his own, he might just about be able to do this. But with the Bone Giant plus the Tomb Prince, who's been used very effectively here, nice diligent play coming in by King of the Dead, hunting down broken off units and shattering them. It's going to be a little bit too much, I think, for the Shadow Gave to carry, especially with those long-range shots coming in from the Bone Giant himself. All the forces are simply going to be falling back here, as he gets one or two more shots in. The snakes, of course, still in combat up against the Ungor Spearheads here. Call of Violence is active, and another shot comes streaking by there, but does unfortunately miss for the Tomb Kings. We do have some rallying Ungor Raiders as well, but they're probably going to break as soon as anything touches them. And there's just not enough Beastmen on the field, I don't think. Snakes are retreating as fast as possible as the Bone Giant continues to fire in, but once again missing his shots up against the Shadow Gave. Down come the Ungor Spearheads into glorious combat against the King that catches Scorpion Legion, charging in for glory. But these Beastmen surely going to be breaking. Yeah, terrified instantly and shattered off the field. Tomb Prince also shattering troops over here, and it is simply Morgul left. We do have a couple of Spearheads trying to get back into the main engagement, but either the Bone Giant or the Tomb Prince needs to just float over there, break those guys off, and then slowly grind out this engagement up against the Shadow Gave himself. A lot of the Tomb Kings are starting to waver though, but I think there is just too many of them. Looks like a few shots being flung over here as we see the broken remains of the chariot. Very unfortunate. Don't know where the corpses went. Perhaps the piggy did run off as the Bray Shaman was dragged down into the dark depths of the Tomb King underworld. Knights going for some nice charges here, just breaking the Spearheads before they can really get in and do anything. I mean, the Knights, double bronze chevron now. Been very impressed with these guys so far over the whole battle. 72 kills is pretty damn impressive. Morga fighting for his life here, surrounded by these guys. Tomb Prince certainly going to do a decent amount of cycle charging, and I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. Looks like one unit of Tomb Guard have been pushed out to the side here to keep these Spearheads away from the main engagement, away from stopping them from meeting up with their ultimate Liege Lord right here, getting them forced off, completely shattered here, and yeah, now the forces will simply be the one versus the many, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Get in here, see some nice close-up action here as the Tomb Prince's mighty steed there does rear up onto its back legs, and in come the snakes, which are such fantastic models when you look up close to them. Unfortunately, pushing down at the Shadow Gave here, and we're going to see a lot of effective cycle charging, no doubt. A lot of the Tomb King's forces are starting to waver a little bit, but they're still relatively healthy. Balance of power is in their favour, and that's only going to grow more and more. And of course, the Shadow Gave is very tough, but he is not unbreakable. Constant cycle charging, surrounded by so many enemies and no friends nearby, is certainly going to start to break his morale. GG by King of the Dead. He thinks it's all over. A move fighting to the death here. So that morale actually popping up a little bit again. Trying to do some decent damage, but the Bone Giant still has over 4,000 health, plus the Tomb Prince. Those two guys alone could probably quite comfortably solo the Shadow Gave here. Yes, yes. What's up, Flying Taco? See you in the chats, man. Looking very forward to your games coming up. And a quick word of encouragement as well. My housemate, who's actually getting this game, well, he's got this game that plays it on the laptop, which is unfortunately a little bit outdated, so he can't do multiplayer. Is getting a PC in the coming weeks, and Flying Tackle, you are his favourite player. So he said he is rooting for you today. So hopefully with the added blessing there, you may be able to sneak through and get a victory. Anyway, back to the game. Morga Showgave trying his best. Some really cool attack animations coming in, trying to focus down that Tomb Prince as much as possible, hoping the RNG favours him mightily, but the curse has popped down, lowering his melee attack here, and that really is going to spell his doom. His melee attack all the way down here, just to 31. Of course, he's going to be applying poison and so forth, but there he goes. He is broken, and game 1 is going to King of the Dead here. Bone Giant certainly giving him the bone shaft there indeed. 2 really fun builds, though. I think King of the Dead, though, kind of predicted the mass swarm build. Didn't bring any Ushopti bows, archers, any of that stuff. Just went really solid in the front line, and of course the Bone Giant and the Lord to drag in the Beastmen forces, and it worked really well. A-Move nearly brought it back in that mid-game, coming in with all those summons and sniping out as well with the Gorbel. Certainly did some decent work. I can't wait. I really hope at some point they get the Doom Ball coming in. That could be a really cool unit. But overall, really fantastic way to start this tournament off. GG. So we are going to be moving it to Pillar of Bone now. There we go. And I will update the scoreboard before coming and chilling out with you guys. So of course it is going to be a move to pick and ban 2 now. So King of Dead, up 1-0. Let's see what these guys have in store for us. Welcome, welcome. Anyone I have missed? Hope you guys are doing all good today. Looks like I missed a few people coming in. Looks like we're all good. Do you think you need some Minotaurs here? Yeah, Minotaur's very good overall. Minotaurs are pretty damn beasts. I actually quite like the shielded variety as well, just for their durability. But you can't go wrong with the 2-handed axes. They look very cool indeed as well. And certainly do some decent work. But yeah, Razorgors, I think, just for value of money, at least just the units, the Razorgore herds, they do have low leadership, which can be a big problem, but they can certainly pin in constructs, have decent AP as well. So I think for the value for money, I think they're one of the best units for them. So A-move turn right, yep. Pick. And 2 ban. If this goes to game 3, it is blind picks. There we go. So that is the rule, both for the semi-finals and the finals. If it goes to the final game, we do go for blind picks. Doom Ball would be great. Getting Torx the Brass Ball would be absolutely glorious. Indeed, it'd be interesting to see how they implement his tabletop mechanics. So he's a big Minotaur, which I believe ate a Herald of Chaos who came to like bless him or something. He swallowed him up and ate him, and he was kind of blessed and cursed. So his entire body was covered in brass. So he's incredibly tanky. I believe he had a 2-up save on tabletop. But if you got like a 6 to hit, he has one little point on his neck, which is an opening. He has no cover there, no brass there at all, and that was the curse bestowed upon him for eating that herald. And if you could stab it up in there, you got to like ignore his armor. No idea how they'd bring that into the game, but still, he would be a very cool unit indeed. Even though Beastmen doesn't need as much work as Wood Elves. Wood Elves need so much work. I mean, they're still very powerful and can be very good in the hands of a good player, but at the same time, I would really love the Sisters of Twilight. Really, really would. I still remember when Gorbles flew like birds. Unfortunately, they still do. They've tried to fix them. I think it's just something to do with the model, unfortunately. So, it looks like A-Move going to his roots here and going for the mighty Dowie, banning Beastmen and Norska. King of the Dead going Chaos here. Very interesting stuff indeed. Hardcore match here, 2 heavily armoured factions. Not sure how this is going to play out. I haven't seen these guys in this matchup before. I don't see King of the Dead play Chaos that much, I don't think. But then again, I suppose normally he likes his Tomb Kings and Vampirates. Of course, Dwarfs, very, very good counter to Vampirates in my opinion. Dwarfs probably the best shooting faction in the game. So they just do what the Vampires want to do, but better, and they're also relatively good at taking down single entities, the Dwarves. You have so many Slayers, all those guns, crossbows that can even, put a dent in them as well over the course of a battle. Welcome, welcome guys. So cool to see so many people watching. Hope you're doing all good. If this is your first time finding my channel, welcome. I'm a Rubber Duck of War. We do all kinds of tournaments, King of the Hills, battle replays, all good stuff revolving around Total War Warhammer. And yeah, if that's the type of stuff you enjoy, feel free to stick around, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you want to get involved in tournaments such as this, unfortunately this is the end of Season 3 of Death Before Dishonor, but if you want to get involved in Season 4 and King of the Hills or send me replays, feel free to join my Discord, link just down in the description below. But this shall be glorious. Can Amove pull this back to a 3-game series? I certainly hope so. Or can King of the Dead get a early victory, hop himself into the finals? And he will come up against either Flying Taco or Chosen One. I like to think that every time CA tries to fix squabbles flying, they can't help themselves but laugh and leave it as it is. That's probably true, Optimus Prime there, coming in with the conspiracy theories. Perhaps CA just, someone in CA keeps underhandedly switching him back to standard. He's got a hatred for goreballs. Yeah, once got trampled over maybe by a bull or something. In before King of the Dead goes crazy and does a Forsaken rush. I would love to see that, but I feel like he would get destroyed pretty quickly. But it could be good fun. Looks like Amove is right now. King of the Dead making some final adjustments to his forces. And we'll get this underway. Luckily it has passed 8 o'clock here, because I believe Chosen One, who did have to take place in round 2, as he was going to miss the start of the tournament, but it should be all good. Very excited to see the games to come. So if anyone has joined late, this is the first of the 2 semi-finals we're doing, before obviously going on to the finals, and King of the Dead won up against Amove Hacker. Amove here, going back to his roots with the Dowie. He was always an incredible Dowie player, but now he is a very good player across the board. Certainly expanded his range. Very good with the Lizardmen as well. I will, very openly say that I will steal a lot of Amove Lizardmen builds as well, or at least base some builds off them. It's one of the highest compliments you can get in this game. Those people stealing your builds, I feel. It's at least what I tell myself when I'm doing it. So, Pillar of Bone here, lovely pillar in the background here, quite a nice open map, really fun to cast on. There's a nice large flat section in the middle, but there's also some hills and trees as well dotted around, which sometimes the battles can get dragged into. So there's potential for some sneaky stabbings, and also, making Open One proud, holding the high ground and shooting down upon your opponents. Who is your money on in chat, guys? Do you think Amove Hacker can bring it back? Or do you reckon King of the Dead will secure his first place in the finals? I am unsure. And here we go. So, for the forces of King of the Dead, gone very wide here. Coming in with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal. Very interesting pick. Coming in with, I'm assuming, Plague of Rust. Yeah, Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. So going quite cheap and cheerful. Awesome model, though. You don't often get to see up on top of his mighty steed there. For a front line, he's gone cheap and cheerful with some Chaos Marauders mixed in with Chaos Warriors with great weapons, actually. So pretty hardcore. These guys, of course, coming with great AP. Should do a fantastic job up against Longbeards, Dwarf Warriors, and the like. We have a ton of Chaos Spawn as well, including the Weird Spawn here, the Regiment Renowned version, who have a very cool colour scheme as well. So 1, 2, 3 units, it looks like, of Chaos Spawn. A couple of Chariots, which you expect. Chariots bordering abusive up against the Dwarfs. Every time a Dwarf sees a Chariot, he does weep, as these guys are so good at dragging their way through the Dowie lines. We also have a couple of Chaos Ferromanticores up in the sky, which is relatively cheap, fast-moving AP. Looks like these guys getting underway straight away here. And we have 4 Chaos Warhounds in the back line as well, which is good to see. Now for the forces of the Dowie, do we have Norgrim Ironbreakers, Longbeards, Grumbling Guard, Ironbreakers, Longbeards, bad to the bones, hardcore Dowie build here. Also coming in with the Dragonback Slayers, a couple of Bolt Throwers for that long range damage, Ulthvar Raiders going to be very fantastic as well, and a Rune Lord. So just an absolute hold the line situation here. Looks like Ferromanticore's being used very effectively here to try and shut down these gyrocopters. Unfortunately, though, for the Dowie here, the Chaos Warhounds expertly moved through this tiny gap here. You wouldn't have thought there was really much of a gap there. They are slowly being shut down. It looks like the Bolt Throw should be relatively okay here. It takes a little bit of damage, but it has dragged the Slayers away, and more Hounds looking to get in there. But it looks like a nice backline protection so far. Bolt Thrower still fully operational. The Ironbreakers do move back into position now. These Chaos Spawn are going to be pretty hard to deal with here. The Dragonback Slayers are the only anti-large tool. The Raiders will do relatively okay here as well against them. Of course, the Spawn don't have much armour. This will be interesting to see how the Longbeards with great weapons do indeed hold their forces here. Chaos Chariots coming inbound now, but some of them have taken quite a beat and still have full model count here, which is a little bit unlucky. And the Grumbling Guard actually managed to hold the line relatively effectively there and to pin in some of these Chaos Chariots, doing some really fantastic damage. But it looks like the Raiders have been pinned in. Dragonback Slayers now being forced forward to deal with the Chariots. This would be the perfect time to sneak in with some Hounds. But of course, it is so hard to micro. Looks like these Hounds did try and sneak through the gap, but once again, a move on point here. Coming in with his defensive formations. Manticore in the back line now, and so is the Chaos Warhounds. This could spell disaster for these poor Bolt Throwers. In come the Chaos Spawn, hop onto the Norgrim Ironbreakers with an upgraded Plague of Rust, minusing that these guys' armour down to 65, which isn't terrible, but the Chaos Spawn should certainly be able to do a decent amount of damage up against them now. Feral Manticore slowly being beat back, so are the Chaos Spawn. It looks like the Bolt Throwers actually managed to survive here, still popping those shots into those Chaos Chariots, down to 2 models now, and they are starting to break. So it looks like the Chariots may slowly get dragged offline. But in comes the Feral Manticore, hopping on top of the Raiders, dragging those guys apart. The Dragonback Slayers are here to assist in attempting to drag that guy down. And in the distance, you can see that poor Gyrocopter, at least, you know, it's wasting a lot of time for this Chaos Feral Manticore, keeping it away from the fight, but unfortunately, didn't really get to go in there and do too much damage. Looks like some of the Chaos Marauders are being forced back now against the much more elite forces. But nice bombardment coming down as well. The Bolt Thrower, let's see, does it have all its people active? It looks like all the Bolt Throwers are indeed active here. They seem to hop back on and get shooting. And we do now have some blasts and charges coming from the Ironbreakers, being Kobe'd over the top of the Ironbreakers here onto those Chaos Marauders, which is a perfect target for them. You can see their HP just being deleted there. But all these Chaos Spawn are going to be really tough to deal with, especially with just the one Dragonback Slayer. In comes the second load of Chariots here, still all 3 models. These Slayers certainly trying to put this game on their back, fending off all these Manticores plus the Chariots. They're doing a decent job so far. In the back line, Rune Lord as well managed to clear up some Chaos Hounds. Out come the Chaos Chariots the other side, still with all 3 models, so they still have that full damage output. Only up to 6 kills, but they do some pretty decent HP damage. Fortunately though, for King of the Dead, Feral Manticore has started to rampage and is now going to be fighting targets it really doesn't want to. In the front line, we have some very beleaguered Longbeards fighting back-to-back with some Longbeard brethren here, trying their best to beat down the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but with the help of the Chaos Spawn saturated on top of them, this is looking pretty rough for the Dowie, but they've managed to protect the backline very effectively. One Bolt Thrower probably going to be getting taken offline here, and Norgrim Ironbreaker's taking huge amounts of damage there as well from that bombardment. And yeah, the Bolt Thrower is being forced back, unfortunately. The second one slowly being swarmed down by Chaos Marauders. So it looks like a lot of the range options for the Dowie are offline as they start to try and re-stabilise here and endure the pain here. Gyrocopter with Brimstone Gun actually managed to come back into the fray here with the Manticores being committed elsewhere, getting some really decent damage onto the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal. Looks like this Feral Manticore may pop over here, but no. Looks like it's just swooping around quite comfortably here. We do have a few Blast and Chariots come in, trying to target down these Chaos Marauders as well. Manticores are being forced off here, and the Chaos Chariots getting very low, but I don't know if the Dwarfs have enough left after the initial engagement to deal with all these Chaos Spawn, and of course are unbreakable. Saturated with the great weapon to Chaos Warriors is going to be really, really tough. Gyrocopter once again trying to kite back this Feral Manticore. It looks like the second one has raided as well, which is a really nice pickup here by King of the Dead. Still got nearly 1,000 health, so can certainly pack a punch. And looks like Norgrim Ironbreaker's still going strong here. 39 kills, managed to get a nice dodge there as well. Where are the Dragonback Slayers? 32 of those guys left. They've done a huge work so far trying to protect back line and tear down big monsters. Looks like the Manticore though, plus some Spawn, plus the Sorcerer all coming in to try and snipe down that poor Rune Lord here. In comes some more, looks like Ironbreakers here. Still relatively heavy on the health factor as well. Pushing downhill onto some Chaos Marauders, trying to pin back this massive wave of forces. And Norgrim Ironbreakers going to rotate with those guys, falling back while Plague of Rust is active. Really nice play here by the Dowie forces. Looks like Feral Manticore got a little bit beat up there, a little bit worse for wear, as the Chaos Spawn getting dragged down here by a combination of Dragonback Slayers and Ironbreakers. Only 17 of these guys left, but they're doing a fantastic job so far. More blasting charges come in as well, trying to focus down the Chaos Warriors. but this can be a big problem for the Dowie. It's going to be hard to get his reinforcements back to the main engagement. These chariots, who may be pretty low on health, can simply cycle charge and break troops off and shatter them at will. Up to 20 kills, certainly going to pay dividends into the late game there. Chaos Ferromanticore is going down here, down to just 300 health. The second one, though, pretty much full health as we speak. And the Dowie are in kind of small clumps here, being isolated amongst the battlefield. In comes the Ferromanticore to try and deal with the Rune Lord, doing some really nice damage there. Then come the Norgrim Ironbreakers, trying to hold the line as these desperate last 12 Dragonback Slayers try their best here, completely surrounded by monstrous creatures. They've done some really fantastic work. Balance power actually quite heavily now in the favour of the Dowie. But I suppose the Chaos Sorcerer Lord getting very beat up here, isolated, and these Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns, absolute play in the back pocket, have managed to rally multiple times, get in here and do consistent damage onto that Chaos Sorcerer Lord. With Master Rune of Wrath on run on him, he is going nowhere, getting dragged down here by the glorious Slayers, trying to pull him apart here. Down to just 290 health. If he goes, perhaps there is hope for the Dowie. Once again, Ferromanticore is trying to hop on top of those Gyrocopters with the Brimstone guns, but they're turning around, trying to get one more volley off. They do fling a few shots, it looks like, towards the Chaos Chariots. So the Chaos Sorcerer has managed to escape here with 290 health, and he's probably going to be able to rally. There's quite a distance between him and the edge of the battlefield, and the Dowie just don't have enough to chase. Gyrocopters trying to push through as much as possible and finish him off, as that could be really key. As a look at the forces of Chaos start to buckle under the lack of leadership. Chaos Chariots getting very low as well, but once again, fantastic cycle charging here, coming in by King of the Dead, running over these poor Ulthar Raiders here. These guys getting some really good value in this late game, but the majority of the Chaos forces are breaking here. We have the elite of the elite left. We have Longbeards, Ironbreakers, all holding the line here, trying their best to protect. And it looks like the Chaos Sorcerer is gone. That was a really dicey and close game. It certainly looked like King of the Dead may have had it in the bag there at about the midpoint, but you can never count out the Dowie nor a move hacker, as army losses do set in, and that is going to be game. That was crazy. That was insane. A move proving that he is here to stay. The Dwarfs will hold the line against all odds. A really fun super elite build coming in here. Protected the bolt throwers just long enough that they managed to neuter some of the effectiveness of the Chaos Chariots. And the big key moment here for me, in my opinion, is that Gyrocopter rallying, coming back, and then sniping out that Chaos Sorcerer Lord twice. The Ferromanticore had it in its grasp, but couldn't quite chase it off the field, and unfortunately for him, it came back to pay the price there. GG, well played. Got a game. And it is blind pick time. So we are going to be going to Mirror Woods for our final game. That was crazy, guys. That was pretty crazy. I will be with you guys in chat in just a second. Just going to update the scoreboard here. So A-Move is up to 1-1 now. Bring himself level with the mighty King of the Dead. So we send it you via Discord, yeah. Use a, yeah, either one. Either one. PM or Discord. It's cool. I'm happy with either one. So what do you guys think of that? That was insane. That was insane indeed. Looks like I missed quite a lot of you guys. Back to I hate the Dwarfs. I want to go with a move, but he is playing Dowie, so it's a no-no. You gotta love the Dowie, even as an elf fan. You gotta love him, but yeah, certainly get some PDST from those chariots and nastiness. Bolt throwers aren't a big threat. He could probably ignore them even. That would probably be a good shout. He did commit a lot of forces trying to hop in the back line there and destroy those bolt throwers. But unfortunately, they can only really be effective against the chariots. They did do some decent damage though, and at least entice in the chaos. So, cool. We have our pick from A-Move. Just waiting on the mighty King of the Dead. Check my Discord, and he sent it on there. Cool. Oh no. This is a really one-sided match. We have Vampire Coast from King of the Dead up against Lizardmen of A-Move Hacker. This is a really rough game for the Lizardmen, in my opinion. So many cheap armor-piercing guns can do fantastic damage. Lizardmen can be relatively slow as well. Luckily, Mirror Woods does have a bit of protection with the woods, and lots of potential as well for backline harass and so forth. But even so, I think this is going to be a tough one for a move here. Quack, quack. Welcome, Poison Ducky. Hope you're doing all good. I hope you're all good, my friend. This is still the first semi-final. So we have A Move and King of the Dead here going 1-1. The second semi-final between Flying Taco and Chosen One, which is actually Season 2's final in an incredible set of games. Probably the best of 5 I've ever cast on the channel. Those guys will be kicking off the second semi-final soon, and then we will have the best of 5 finals. What's up, V-Claw? Hope you're doing all good, man. Great to see you around. For those who don't know, by the way, both Poison Ducky and V-Claw are YouTubers. I believe V-Claw also has a Twitch account, so certainly worth a watch as well if after my stream you go check them out. Two super cool dudes, and make a lot of cool content. So, what does A Move do here? I mean, you can go very wide up against the nasty vampirates here, but can cause a lot of problems, especially then if he goes Crab Rush, he will just decimate the Lizardmen. I quite like Salamander and Razor on hunting packs. I think that's relatively well known. I think they can do work here, but at the same time they're a little bit squishy and can be shot down. Now, I believe it was A Move Hacker. It was someone on a King of the Hill a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month or so ago, brought a really interesting build up against the coast, which actually involved a oh my god, my mind! A Feral Dread Saurian, which surprisingly works. And I believe it was against King of the Dead, because of course he's a big fan of the bombers and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see what mind games go on here. Of course, these guys have both been facing each other for multiple years up to this point probably, and know each other very well. Lizardmen need to go wider than Mazda Mindy's rear end. Not sure if that's actually possible. Just blot out the sun with skinks. If King doesn't bring any bloated boys, he is trolling. He needs the bloated boys. I actually did a stream a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm going to do another one, maybe even tomorrow or possibly next week, where I just do some battles on quick battles, and people can try and stream snipe me and stuff, where I actually brought a bloated boy up against the Dowie, I believe, and he hopped on Norgrim Ironbreakers, and he got like 200% value or something insane. It like broke the Ironbreakers off the battlefield or something, or it killed like half the unit. It was a beautiful sight. It's just a matter of how many bloated corpses he brings. Ironbreakers versus Spawn. Ironbreakers win. Ironbreakers certainly did do a good job holding the line there. Galahad, welcome, welcome. Not sure if I've seen you around, so welcome to my streams. Hope you're having a good day today. Get a little sip of water from my flask here to keep me active and going. Bit of Bugman's brew. And we will soon get underway. Vampire Coast is not a good faction. Dead in the water on arrival and lots of crabby units. Vampire Coast, probably the #1 faction in the game in my opinion. Them and Dark Elves. I really struggle up against Dark Elves, mainly because I don't play them. But they're very versatile, lots of fast-moving AP units. I can't really see Dark Elves ever going out of fashion, even as we go into Total War Warhammer 3. They're just so good up against any type of build. They can really kind of go fisticuffs with pretty much anyone. I'm very much looking forward to Total War Warhammer 3. Certainly expecting Demons and O Kingdoms. Demons probably going to be split up into multiple factions as well. But I'm also really looking forward to probably some of the DLC factions we'll be getting, like Hobgoblins, which I believe are kind of like a Khan-themed army. So like a fast-moving greenskin Cav army would be a thing of pure beauty. You'd bring a wide skin army. That can work, but then what happens if you come up against crabs? The skinks will be dragged down. Could be really tough. There is a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, which of course does come into Total War games. And sometimes battle can be lost before it starts, but most time, even if you have a bit of a disadvantage, it is possible. So here we are on Mirror Woods. Depending on which side they are going to deploy, there's a lot of trees dotted around and of course some hills, so you can approach the Vampire Coast relatively safe from long-range firepower, but at the same time there is also some really big openings as well, dotted around where you can place a nice defensive box of gun lines. But it will be interesting to see what they do. Both of these players are known for bringing not very orthodox builds. A Move Hacker in particular can bring some really wild picks that you wouldn't think would work, and somehow he makes them work. King of the Dead as well has his very own unique style of play, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. 19 chameleons, go, go, go. That'd be very horrifying to face. And it looks like it is a repeat of that build, so it's going to be very interesting to see if King of the Dead did learn his lesson from that previous time fighting. And King of the Dead, the man of the people here, has in fact brought the glorious Gallows Giant. This is a thing of beauty here. He will get some pretty decent flame attack down on skinks and so forth, and you know, he can do some pretty decent damage. Is a little bit of a meme sometimes as well. A front line of deckhand mobs with polearms as well, just trying to soften up the enemy and hold them back while the rest of his army does some serious damage. And oh dear, 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 dear. We have 3 carronades in the front here. They're going to tear that poor Dread Saurian to pieces. Backed up, we have the classic King of the Hill move, King of the Dead move here, with the bombers. They're going to be thrown over top of these chaff units, nuking down Saurus Warriors and Skinks alike. We also have the Lamprey's Revenge in the back, Count Noctilus on foot. So pretty standard stuff. Now for the forces of the Lizardmen, we have a front line of Saurus Warriors mixed in with Legion Shaquar for that bit of protection, a Feral Dread Saurian, Slan Mage Priest of Life to try and keep him alive. We have hidden in the trees over here the Pohopak cohort and a flying corps of Pterodon Riders and the Pohawks Sentinels. This I feel is going to be really tough for a move. He does have a Saurus Scarvetron as well for a bit of protection, but those cannon fire is going to be so deadly up against the Dread Saurian. Does manage to hide behind a tree here rather effectively. Although, no, it looks like the cannons are unfortunately hitting him now quite effectively. So this could honestly cost him the game. He is coming in with an Earthblood, trying to heal him up. And I suppose it is going to allow the rest of his forces to enter relatively unimpeded. We do have a summon of the zombie pirate guy mobs, forcing back the Pterodon Riders. Really nice play there by King of the Dead, bringing those guys in. And the Saurus will tear through the deckhand mobs effectively, but the bombers will equally do a huge amount of damage back. Dread Saurian plus Carnosaur, I suppose those cannons can only target one at a time. Should be able to do some pretty decent damage as well, but they need to shut down these carronades as quickly as possible. And it looks like some of these guys are actually obstructed behind these trees, which is really unfortunate here, coming in by the King. Not sure how long those guys have been obstructed for. Big Shield of the Old Ones does pop in, trying to protect the Feral Dread Saurian, but he's already started to rampage, and it's going to be tough for him to actually get his value here. He needs to push through and get into the back line. In come the Pterodons, hopping into the back line, and the Pohopak cohort riding victorious into battle here. Gloriously sounding the charge, but looks like they do unfortunately get caught up on a summoned unit of gun mobs, which isn't where they want to be. They need to force their way back into these bombers here. In come the Pohawk Sentinels, dropping their rock drops down on the carronades and then swooping in, try and finish those guys off nice and quickly. A big banishment coming down as well, tearing up some Saurus Warriors, unfortunately, some really nasty friendly fire. Also doing some damage as well to zombie pirate deckhand mobs, but unfortunately that did a bit more friendly fire, I think, than good fire. Another Earthblood trying to keep the Saurus Scarvetron and Feral Dread Saurian active, and they're doing a decent job. Force their way in. They will decimate the Lamprey's Revenge and this Gallows Giant if they get a chance. Bombers also starting to be overrun. The Count Noctilus on foot should do some decent anti-large damage in general. And in the back line, it looks like the Pterodons unfortunately are getting forced off. They're causing absolute havoc here on the carronades and the bombers. And this is a crazy balls-to-the-wall game all across the battle line. Saurus Warriors are starting to drag through the zombies. A lot of the bombers were unfortunately shut down. And in come the Pterodons into the back, trying to finish off these carronades, even though the polearms making them pay dearly for every carronade they do destroy. A nice summon in the back line here by the Gunny mobs, getting a few shots off into returning Saurus to stop them getting back into the fight. And then should be able to turn around and get some really good shots into this Feral Dread Saurian, who has unfortunately broken, which is really key here. He's quite low on health, down to 2,600. Looks like he is going to be chased and forced off. Another Earthblood coming in. Could be, if he looks like he's struggling to path out of here. If he can manage to escape, he may be able to come back and do some serious damage. But out goes the Saurus Scarvetron as well. Saurus slowly pushing through the front line, but there's still the Lamprey's Revenge, who are going to be healing up, of course. A very healthy Count Noctilus to take into account. It looks like the Lizardmen may have run out of steam. An awesome build though coming. I really love this Lizardman build, but it's very risky for what we saw there. If someone does bring something like 4 carronades. Good luck, have fun in chat. Always good to see. Pterodon Riders hopping in once again on top of some carronade. Pterodon Rider being very effectively all games so far. Saurus slowly carving their way through this front line though. Polearms will be dragged down. Legion of Shaquar as well, very tanky in their own right. But bombers have started to rally, and they're going to do some really nice long-range firepower. Saurus Scarvichan has returned once again to the field, and I think, though, the Tyrant may have gone for the Lizardmen. They were in the back line, it was a complete mess, just what they wanted, throwing the Vampires off kind of kilter as much as possible, but it looks like Kindred managed to rally a lot of his forces back together, protecting these Carronades and Bombers very effectively with the Zombie Pirate Deck and Polar mobs, and I think he's probably going to be able to see this one out, but it is a tough game. It is pretty tough. The Slan Mage Priest floating it into safety here, just chilling out for now, does probably have one banishment left, and the Feral Dreadsaurian has rallied, guys, 1,498 health. If he can get an Earthblood on him and keep active, he may be able to come in here, destroy the Lamprey's Revenge, and in comes a really lovely banishment in the back line here, tearing apart Zombie Pirate Deck mobs, plus a unit of Bombers. Unfortunately, it started to cycle away here, and in the back line, the Saurus Scarvichan found the perfect target in the Gallows Giant here, tearing him apart. King did a little bit slow bringing these polearms to bear on top of the mighty Scarvichan, and he may be able to drag him down here. Deadly Onslaught is popped, but all of a sudden he takes a huge amount of damage there and is starting to get dragged down. Looks like we do have one more spell coming off on here. Looks like Mascara Scarvichan, but he is unfortunately going to be forced off here, down quite low on health. I think he's going to be out of it. Slan Mage Priest desperately trying to fight where he can, but Lamprey's Revenge starting to clear up the Saurus Warriors. Army losses does set in, and King of the Dead is going to be the first finalist in this semi-final. Or in this finals, I suppose. Very well played. Awesome build coming from A-Move. I actually really love this build quite a lot. Did some seriously decent work. Huge kills across the board. And really a great initial kind of shock throwing King of Dead's forces out wide. And some of these Carronades couldn't quite get their full value. But massive props to King of Dead. Managed to rally there, protect his backline just enough, endure that very scary initial kind of slam coming in from the Lizardmen. Holding the line, rallying his forces, and managing to scrap it out in a 2-1 victory. Great game. Well played by both competitors there. But yes, GG. See you in the finals. So we do next have Flying Taco coming in up against the mighty Chosen One. So let's update the scoreboard. So of course that was 2-1 to King of Dead there, as we can see. And we're taking that back round, popping in Mr. Flying Taco. And reset his score to 0, of course. And Chosen One. So I'll drop those guys an invite in just a second. And the map will be Outdorf Outskirts. Just make sure Chosen One is online. He was a bit worried about making it. He said he should be here by 8, and we are 8:30 now, so it should be all good. Chosen One. Yeah, looks like he's online. Cool. You are up, buddy. Just let him know in the Discord, so it's all good. Mighty Flying Taco has arrived. Salutations, comrade. Greetings. Almighty. Oh. Cool, cool. So who is your money on? Who will gain that slot in the finals alongside King of the Dead? Will it be Flying Taco or the Chosen One? Chosen One, of course, was Season 2's champion, so he's going to be coming in. He's got a reputation to protect her. It's going to be tough, though. Flying Taco, a beastie combatant, and also often my kind of underdog in a lot of the tournaments to win. I mean, it's kind of harsh calling him an underdog because he's very well respected and well known as a good player, but I feel like he's going to win quite a few tournaments in the near future. Very talented players indeed. Let's see if Chosen One is on Total War. There he is. Pop him in a cheeky invite. And I will quickly chill out with you guys for a little while. Have a look what you guys thought on that battle. It's Mirror Woods, Ronan. I think it's a pretty good map. I played it in tournaments quite a few times. It's relatively balanced. There's hills and trees on both sides. Plenty of potential as well for nice little vanguards. I mean, yeah, the forest, there's a bit of open ground that allowed the cannons to shoot, but again, the forest actually blocked a lot of the shots of the cannons early on as well, so it was a little bit tough. Gallows Giant wrecked. Gallows Giant did bits. Yeah, I don't mind the Gallows Giant. Some people consider it a bit of a meme. I do quite like bringing it. I think initially it was really bad because its shooting mechanics didn't seem to work very effectively, but now they fixed those, it can certainly do some decent damage. Oh, hello. Hey. Let me double check who picks first in this one. Did you write it down earlier? Chosen one. Chosen to pick and ban. Should be some good fun. So this is a repeat of Season 2's finals, which went all the way to a 3-2 victory in Chosen One's favour. But of course, best of 3 here. Who's going to come out on top? I can't remember who took the early lead in that one, so who knows. Just bad against Footlords. Yeah, the Gallows Giant, not so good at taking down like single entities in general. Get some nice splash damage and all that kind of stuff. Really cool animations as well. And yeah, it's a bit of a beast. It certainly can catch people off guard. I quite like it actually there against the Lizardmen. As often you see swarms of skinks and so forth rushing forward and wide infantry builds where it certainly can do some decent damage. I feel like there's not really something like not picking first. Wait, what? I feel like there's not really something. Oh, I believe Chosen One, unfortunately, is always the guy who ends up picking first. Which is a little bit unfortunate for him. But, you know, best of 3s. Luckily, you obviously always get to rotate round at least once. Which is all good in the herd. Aldorf Outskirts, really fun competitive map as well. Bit of an OG. It does it was birthed in Total War Warhammer 1. Nice little bits of trees. Also some interesting hills and roads which can mess up some shooting attacks sometimes as well. So interesting to see who they go for. Both these players are very versatile. Can play multiple factions. Let's quickly check Discord, make sure I have no questions. Looks like we're all good in the herd. And if you guys want to get involved, by the way, in future events such as this, feel free to join my Discord. Link is in the description just down below. Just gonna have a little sip of my drink. So who's your money on, guys? Flying Taco or Chosen One? Let me hear your thoughts. Yeah, looks like they're all good. Chosen One deep in concentration here, trying to figure out who to pick. Gonna refresh my stream quick on my phone. So I am chatting to you guys via my phone, or at least be able to see you guys through my phone. Fortunately, the phone does sometimes disconnect from the Wi-Fi, which is a pain. But I will try and keep up to date with you guys as much as possible. Of course, during the games, I'll be focused on casting and so forth. Eventually, I would like to get a second monitor, but of course, monitors are rather expensive and so forth, so I'll have to wait for that. But it will come eventually. It looks like Chosen One is going to Vampirates, very popular pick today. They're banning Dowie and Empire, which is two factions, pretty good idea to ban. Both going to go tit for tat in that long range game. Looks like Flying Taco going High Elves here. Pretty decent up against the Vampires in general. Lots of cheap and cheerful archers, which can tear apart zombies very quickly. Of course, you have Alien Reavers as well, perfect for getting into that back line. You can even actually go with Flamesfire Phoenix. If it doesn't get sniped out, if you play it, kind of keep it out of range until the late game, can come and do some decent splash damage with those fire poops. And yeah, should be some good fun. Taco, of course, and Taco for the win. I feel like you guys may be slightly biased. Ronin and El Halcon, I believe you're both Extreme Meme Team representatives yourselves. But Flying Taco, certainly a very entertaining player. I remember way back, must have been like over a year ago now, when I started getting into kind of the multiplayer scene as far as watching it, because I didn't have my computer back there. It was Flying Taco and Exploding Hamster played in one of Turin's tournaments, and I was watching it, I was like, this is just it was so cool. Bringing like the craziest units, the craziest builds, making them work, and from there on I kind of got hooked on multiplayer, which is always good fun. I don't really play too many campaigns anymore. I probably will with the next DLC, possibly stream a campaign as well. I do really enjoy them, just I guess the longevity of this game lies in the multiplayer for me. And certainly when Total War Warhammer 3 comes out, we'll be doing all sorts of campaigns and stuff. Very excited to see how they get Ogre Kingdoms to work. Because 90% of their forces are large, apart from Noblars. So anti-large, of course, is going to be fantastic against them. So I don't know how they're going to work that in, but I'm sure CA are up for the challenge. There's a really cool unit I'm praying they do for Ogre Kingdoms. I believe it's called Piggyback Riders, and it's a Noblar, which is basically, for those who don't know, basically a goblin for the Ogre Kingdoms. But they've got big nose, they look really snotty, and they look quite... Oh, who's the guy? Ridiculously famous writer. My mind has completely blanked. Done a ton of books, but they look a lot like the goblins he draws anyway. It'll come to me later on. Terry Pratchett. It looks like some Terry Pratchett creations. And the Piggyback Riders is a Noblar, literally getting a piggyback from another Noblar. And that's their version of Cav, and it is beautiful. Think I'm ready. Flying Taco looks a little unsure of himself here with his build. Taco is playing without the extreme meme tag, not a good sign. Perhaps he's trying to trick Chosen One. You'll be hopping out with all kinds of memes, hopefully. Perhaps he's cast off the extreme meme team logo for this tournament, can be taking dead serious builds the entire time. But honestly, there's a couple of people like Taco and Falcon in particular I've noticed. The memes give them strength. I don't know how, I don't know why, I haven't figured out how it works, but the more memes they bring, the better they play. So, but never counts out, of course, the mighty Chosen One. He did actually take Flying Taco in the last best of 5 that these guys played, at least on the channel. Was playing Bannerlord the extreme meme tag makes the game think I'm trying to hack. No worries, I know you're represented him. Go away, Stream Sniper. Love it. I think Avalon is a better pick. That's a really good shout, actually. El Halcone. Dryads tear apart the chaff very, very quickly, and you still get all the goodies as well coming in from the Hail Forces. Yeah, I actually would really like the Avalon pick. Alright, without further ado, let's get going. Bye, no worries, man. That's extreme meme team power. It's when you join the clan, the CA buffs all your meme units. How are you guys finding Bannerlord, by the way? I haven't really got involved with it too much. I've been playing a different game called Dreams, unfortunately, which is where you can design your own games and stuff. I am designing a Warhammer game, which I'll keep you guys updated to when I get my get to grips with it a little bit more. It'll probably be a couple of months away yet. But I'm very excited to bring that to you guys. Should be some good fun. Should be some good fun. Very quickly loaded in here. Good, good, good. And we'll have a little look at Flying Taco's build here. So, in the front line, we're going to have Cheap and Cheerful Spearmen, mixed in, though, with some White Lines of Chase for an added bit of punch. Looks like we've gone very, very range heavy. So we have Archers, as expected. Cheap, cheerful, fantastic at piercing zombies as well. We have an absolute ton of these guys, including one unit of Lothran Seaguard as well. So very wide, very cheap and cheerful build for the most part. Also gone pretty heavy with 1, 2, 3 units of Illyrian Reavers plus the Fireborn for a bit of added punch. I quite like that, mixing the much more hard-hitting cav in with the cheap and cheerful fast-moving cav as well. These guys fantastic getting on the back line, of course, doing some decent shock damage as well, so they tear apart cannons and so forth very, very quickly. Of course, mortars are probably going to be brought in this matchup as well, you'd expect, but we'll get to that in just a second. We do have Tyrion on his mighty steed here, who is eating some grass, getting ready for the battle. Of course, brilliant Sunfan, all his buffs, and Heart of Avalon. Going to be very good at sniping down constructs and characters. And of course, we have a Lawmaster of Hoeth as well. Actually, that's pretty damn interesting, coming in with 3 spells. So I often bring 2 of these guys up against Dowie, coming in with, you know, Earthbloods and so forth. But he's coming in with Earthblood, Spirit Leech, plus Shem's Burning Gaze here. Could be doing some pretty cool damage. So some cool stuff indeed. Now, for the forces of Chosen One, in the back line, we do have 1 unit of Scurvy Dogs. Or it looks like 2 units of Scurvy Dogs hidden in the background here. A massive front line of Mongols. Now, these guys will tear apart Spearmen and so forth very quickly. But at the same time, they're very low in the armor department. Just coming in with 30 armor, Archers will decimate these guys if they get the opportunity. With a big front line of Deckhand mobs as well. Just cheap and cheerful in the front there. We have 1 unit of Sirens. Going to be pretty good, but they don't want to get caught up by any kind of big burst of magic damage. And I feel like Sunfang... Does Sunfang do magic damage, or is it just fire damage? No, it does magic damage. If that Sunfang catches them, those guys are in trouble. We do have a Vampire Fleet camped in on Vampires, Rotten Leviathan, and Luther Harkin to round us out. Luther Harkin, fantastic duelist, because of course, all of his debuff abilities he can bring in. He can Shriek, he can Fly, he can Pistol Whip as well. He has a little bit of everything. Looks like the Fireborn hiding in the trees here for now. Scurvy Dogs need to be careful. They don't want to take any charges from Leon Reavers. That shock damage can really pull them apart very quickly on. Looks like Halves have advanced up, and the poor zombies here, not only do they live a miserable life, they're going to have to plod now through a little bit of open ground into that archer fire. Now what you'll see here is Flying Taco pushing up his front line as well, trying to keep a bit of distance between him and his archers, which is really good play. Often you'll see a lot of new players kind of dot their spearmen just here, but as soon as they're broken, these spearmen of course are in big trouble. Looks like Siren's taking a Spirit Leech, which is of course going to do some huge damage, and the Archer Fire does come in here. These Mongols certainly need to be a focus of attention. They are going to run through a lot of these units. As you can see, Spearmen go flying in all directions. And it looks like they're really trying to pound out the centre pocket to open up with a nice juicy back line here. Lynn River's being thrown into the front lines to support where possible, but it looks like he hasn't spotted these Scurvy Dogs, and in they come now, going to be hunting down archers. Over here on the side though, Fireborn right into the assistance of Tyrion, who's popped all his buffs to surround this rotten Leviathan, and he's going to have a very bad day indeed. In the back line, Scurvy Dogs have been fended off on one flank, but these ones going to be coming crashing into the back of these archers here, and they will tear apart these poor elven folk very quickly. As you can see, they just about start to flee in time, and Leon River's going to be pulled back as well to protect, but then of course the front line has all sorts of problems. These Mongols probably going to pinch these archers a little bit tough there. In the back line, let's go. Once again, Scurvy Dogs hopping over archers, but Leon River's brought back. Really good play by Flying Taco there, reacting very quickly. In the distance here, the Rotten Leviathan does get an invocation there, heck, making him very tanky. He's lasted a decent amount of time up against these elite units. Leon Reavers, though, doing some nice cycle charging around the battle in general, doing some pretty decent damage. Luther Harkin does have a Spirit Leech on him, but he's once again hunting down some archers, and the White Lions have been forced into the main frontline engagement just to try and protect as much as possible. There was a lot of troops to protect, but for the most part, Flying Taco's kept his archers online and shooting. A few of them have been tagged, unfortunately. Leon Reavers now driving back these Scurvy Dogs where possible. Siren's going to be a bit of a pain here, as the Spirit Leeches have been used up a little bit. Mongols as well need to hop on top of these archers as quickly as possible, because they're going to be a big problem indeed. Royal Leviathan, though, is really stuck here. Where did the Fireborn go? Looks like they're trying to run down some Mongols where possible, and a Sunfang does come in to retaliate up against a zombie pirate gunning mob summon here. And it is going to, unfortunately, only just clip the edge of them, but it does completely destroy the deckhand mobs there. Tyrion, in the duel of his life here, though, up against Luther Harkin, he does have a Hornswoggle on him, making his melee defense very poor here, and his armor. He doesn't really have a chance to escape. He's gone very slow, and it looks like he may break. Just about rallies here. He is terrified, going to be forced back, but Earthblood coming and healing him up, and he certainly doesn't want to shatter before he gets that Heart of Avalon proc. Ron Leviathan taking so much damage so far, still quite healthy. Some really nice healing coming in. You can see the max healing cap, though, coming into play. Force his way into the back line, and after really good initial engagements and work with those Leon Reavers, it looks like the High Elves may start to struggle here. It depends if the Coast have enough troops left to get into the back line and really shut down all of these archers. We do have the fast-moving Mongols still charging around the battlefield here. These ones probably want to disengage from these Lothar and the Sea Guard and hunt down the archers where possible, and those guys are going to be really important into the late game. A lot of the Centre Pocket, though, is breaking for the pirates here. We do have the Fireborn coming in, doing some really decent work, surrounding some zombie pirate deckhand mobs. Looks like another Earthblood coming down as well. It looks like Heart of Avalon must have popped off, as Tyrion is now pretty much back to full health. Balance power slightly in the High Elf favour. These Fireborn need to dart around the battlefield now and really clear up these Mongols, otherwise the archers are going to suffer so poorly here. Watching Leviathan as well, being an absolute tank so far, throwing that Elf Archer up into the air and devour him. Another one that goes into the maw, never to be seen again. Comes down with a stomp as well, finishing off more of those archers. Mongols relatively healthy, same with the Sirens, at least coming into this late game. And archers being forced off in all directions here. Elves are fleeing. Flying Taco's Micro is going to have to be on point to rally all these guys. We do have a Leon Reavers who can come back as well, do some nice blocking and kind of forcing opponents out a little bit. Deckhand mobs are unfortunately going to be disappearing, of course. Luther Harkin now being chased down by Tyrion and the Fireborn, not where he wants to be. He's all happy to duel Tyrion when he has Hornswoggle active. Without that, he really wants to get out of there as fast as possible. Looks like the main battle is slowly being dragged into the centre pocket here, which I think may be a slight mistake here by Chosen One. He needs to get out and push down and chase down all these archers. Pretty much ignore the slow-moving parts of the High Elf forces for as long as possible, and hunt down the rest so these archers don't come back and do some damage. Big streak going down on the Fireborn. They're doing some really decent damage, and these guys have up to 85 kills here. Been going up against some tough foes as well. Tyrion, once again, has been blobbed in here with a Hornswoggle. He has popped all his buffs as well, but he's going to be incredibly squishy. Fireborn throwing themselves forward in an attempt to protect him. But the Rotten Leviathan and Luther Harkin here. Swordmaster of Hoeth as well. Going to be doing some pretty decent damage here, or Lawmaster, sorry. He's got pretty decent AP stats overall, and he's getting nice rear attacks into the Rotten Leviathan. And yeah, the Coast being dragged into this battle, which I don't think they really need to. I would have, I mean, they do now that they've committed. I would have forced myself out, chasing down all these archers. It would have dragged the game out a little bit, perhaps, but, you know, would have forced the balance power much more in his favour, and down the Coast go. But very close game indeed. Very well played to both players there. Super good fun. Super good stuff indeed. So that is going to be game 1 to Flying Taco. I'm sure his clanmate's going to be very happy in chat there. And yeah, really kind of standard, but very good build. Going very wide, lots of cheap and cheerful archers just to tear down the zombies very, very quickly. And Leon Reavers used fantastically though. Shock damage gain in the charge on the initial front line, but then coming back and protecting up against those hounds who managed to sneak into the back line. Fireball as well, of course, brilliant bodyguards rolling around with Tyrion. I do like the white lines of chase as well, and a bit more punch into the melee. Chosen One though played very well as well, almost dragging it through there. He broke the hails, but didn't quite have enough fast moving units to chase down those archers. If he had perhaps had 1 or 2 more units of scurvy dogs, or just kept these ones back until the late game, he maybe would be able to hunt down a few more of those units and turn that balance of power slightly more in his favour. But regardless, GG. Fireborn is a great pick, really like that, and Tyrion maybe meta. Nice compliments coming in by Chosen One here. Always good to see there, and we are on to Valley of Thieves. So going to the Tomb King's homeland here. Was expecting a build like that, and they really paid off. Yeah, really well done. That was a super fun game, and let us go now to the scoreboard and update. So Flying Taco, 1-0 here. Can Chosen One bring it back and scrap it to a 1-all series? Build from yesterday with another there. Looks like these guys have been playing together recently. And this gives me some chance to hang out with you guys. Oh, so many people watching. Welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are doing all good today. Fantastic to see so many new faces and old faces alike. But, yeah, if this is your first time exploring the channel, I'm a Total War Warhammer content creator. So feel free to stick around if you like all things Total War. And if you want to get involved in tournaments, King of the Hill, send me replays and all that good stuff, I do have a Discord just down below. Arisodamos, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing all good. Always great to see you in chat. We are in the second semi-final, so King of the Dead managed to beat A-Move Hacker in a tightly contested 2-1 series in the first semi-final. Flying Taco has just taken the first game in the second one, and of course we'll be having the best of 5 finals after this as well. Coast is so tricky, can do many things. Indeed, Coast can be very tricky. So it is Mr. Taco now, I believe, to pick and ban first. To pick and ban. Oh, looks like he knows that he is switching to the dinos. He is a man of the people indeed. Flying Taco, one of my favourite dinosaurs. Which is always good. Set should be like, get off my lawn! Indeed, indeed. Set should not going to be happy here. We may in fact see some Tomb Kings. They have a relatively cool matchup against those men. Flying Taco is banning Skaven and Dark Elves. I think that is a relatively good pick. Of course, now he knows that Vampires are out of the mix. Otherwise, probably best to ban Skaven and Vampires. It depends. There's a few ways to play those matchups. Dark Elves are one of those factions I really struggle against. I hate facing Dark Elves. If you want to see me get destroyed as well in the King of the Hill, by the way, I highly recommend going and checking out Darth Plays King of the Hill that he played earlier today. I got absolutely wrecked in a Lizardmen Dark Elf matchup. I do blame that partly. I couldn't see my opponent's army until it was too late. And my poor Sallys didn't want to shoot, but unfortunately. Chosen One is my favourite of these competitors, says Arisodamos. Well, he is an absolute champ. He is the current ruler, I suppose, of Death Before Dishonour as well, having won Season 2 up against Flying Taco. And he did a really nice comeback as well. It was a 3-2 series, but here they meet in the semi-finals this time. So we do have some support from both Chosen and Taco here. Should be some good games. I think Coast is slightly worse than everyone thinks. People call them super tier, yet they have maybe 4 poor matchups. If you speak to Lord Zeus, he will certainly have words. He thinks they are unbelievably broken and OP, and he certainly does make them work. But we'll see. So what is Chosen One going to pick into the Lizardmen? So he's already done the Coast. He banned, what did we say? Was it Dowie? No, Skaven and Dark Elves. Maybe Dowie would be a good pick here. I don't think it's as a one-sided matchup as people think, Dowie up against Lizardmen, because Lizardmen actually have tons of cheap armor-piercing options, red-crested skinks, cheap dinosaurs, and so forth. But I think it still certainly favours the Dowie. Warhammer torpedoes do fantastic work. They can take down elite infantry, take down big dinosaurs. They do everything. So if you can protect them, they will do. They will pay for you certainly. Flying Taco for that underdog mystique. Laughs in Flying Taco. It's going to be tough. The good thing I love about the top tier of Total War Warhammer competitors, and all four of these guys are really, really up there, is that on any day, any of them could beat each other. Yes, maybe one or two would have the advantage. I use Falcon for an example. I think most consider Falcon to be the #1 player in the world right now, him or Slaxland Soothsayer, and I probably agree. I think Falcon is #1, but at the same time, Flying Taco, Chosen One, A-Move, and King of Dead on a day could certainly beat Falcon in a best of 3 or a best of 5. Maybe Falcon will win 1 or 2 more, who knows. So it always makes the tournaments get really exciting because it's not always the same winner over and over again. I'm going to wait for him to pick. Taco is the best. Taco underdog, question mark, what? Yeah, Flying Taco is a bit of an OG, very well respected player and very tough, so I don't know if you could call Flying Taco an underdog against pretty much anyone. Maybe Soothsayer or Falcon, but even then, Taco can go tit for tat with the best. Oh yes, of course, Aerocrastic here. Aerocrastic is a very, very talented player. I don't think I've ever had the chance to actually play him. I don't actually get to play anywhere near as much as I'd like, because most of my free time, of course, I spend casting and stuff. You think Soothsayer's #1? Oh no, I feel like Falcon's probably just tipped above Soothsayer. Now, I know Soothsayer's a bit of an old favourite as well, been around for a bit longer, but Falcon in recent times is just tearing people apart in tournaments. Aren't Dowie susceptible to flying units overload? They can be, but once again, if Pterodon Riders sit still for a second up against like Trollhammer torpedoes, they will tear them apart very quickly. And of course, get enough Slayers to protect that back line, you can be in good shape as well. I think Falcon is #1 right now. Yeah, I think he is. Sooth was the best by far for a long time. Yeah. I would probably agree with both those assessments. I think Soothsayer was the best for a long time. I think he's still like easily only top 5. But certainly Falcon, I think, has overtaken it. Chosen One, go in Dowie, so I can still be happy if you win, because they're Dowie. Okay, so we're going to test out our theories in chat here. Lotus Moon also very good. There's so many good players. Like, I know I've only mentioned a few. There is a ton that I haven't mentioned. Lotus is very strong but not competing recently. Yeah, I think he was moving house or something, possibly, but I think he's got back to it now recently. And Lotus is, yeah, very good. He's also, I'm not saying, I think he could always do it, but I think people got this assumption that he's always going to kite you. But he can play in multiple different styles very well, and it kind of lends into all those mind games to be very prepared against him. Yeah, it's very different to, playing ladder and tournaments is very, very different in my opinion. Some people can be very good in ladder and terrible in tournaments and vice versa. I normally just use ladder if I do plan to experiment with builds and so forth, so I don't really go try hard. I did when I first got the game before I kind of made the YouTube channel and stuff, and I just brought like competitive build after competitive build, like the same build over and over again that I knew was good, and it gets a bit boring, so I like kind of mixing stuff up, brand new units, and just having fun basically. Lizardmen versus Dowie. I think it's certainly still Dowie favoured, but it's a lot closer than people think. Drunk Lotus beats Lotus, he defeats himself. Oh, Halinali, Hadries, yeah. I just got dumpstered by Hadries earlier today. Yeah, there's so many good players. Halinali's great, actually. Exploding Hamster as well, super underrated, because he doesn't get to play in that many tournaments, because he organises so much of the German stuff. But Exploding Hamster, very unorthodox player, comes in with some crazy builds. So I think he's certainly up there. I'm just trying to think of people off the top of my head. But I mean, even Turin as well. I know he's more known for casting, but he's a very good player. Darv plays extremely good Empire player and very good player in general. Seen a lot of his green screen plays recently. But yeah, I'm forgetting like 1,000 people. There's so many good ones. So many good ones. El Halcón as well. Super good player. I've seen him, I think it was 2 ECLs ago. There was a game, I think it was Norseguns versus Empire, and it had some of the craziest micro I'd ever seen from a player by him. So he's certainly up there as well. And of course, all you guys in chat, of course, number ones. Top 1 me, then Falcon, and then Sooth. Easy. Easy. Oh, looks like these guys are ready. Apologies. Hamster used to play tournaments, but a long time ago. Yeah, I think he still does a ton, but he organises them a lot, and there's kind of more in the German community, and they actually have different rule sets and everything, which I found out the other day. But yes. Hamster rocks. He does indeed bring super fun builds, and very good at them. So here we go. Valley of Thieves. Very nice open map. And let's have a little look at the build. So we'll go through Flying Taco first. He is going to be trying to hold on to his lead here and book a place into the finals. And what on earth is the man doing? He is bringing the Kroxigor Ancient. He looks so good. I wish he was picked more often. Samurai War actually picked him against me in a tournament recently, so perhaps there's something about him I don't know. I mean, it's all going to be very good with that damage resistance. Interesting to see how he's going to work it. We have a Skink Priest of Beast coming with that Manticore Summon and Amber Spear. And I mean, the Kroxigor will destroy the heavily armoured, tightly packed formations of the Dowey, but Trihammer Torpedoes, guns, cannons will tear him apart. Gone very wide here with Skinks mixed in with Saurus. Not the most armour piercing available. Kohov Soltec do kind of fit that role. But the main idea here is that these units of Kroxigor in the back here are going to saturate on top of the Skinks, let the Skinks take the damage, and hopefully the Stegodons and the Kroxigors will be able to punch through. We have a couple of flying units as well. Pohawk's Sentinels going to be coming with a very powerful rock drop, plus some Ripodactyl Riders, anti-infantry, armour piercing, all that good stuff. Really fun build overall. Going to be interesting to see how it works. That Kroxigor Ancient I'm going to pay special attention to. So let's have a little look now at the Challenger Chosen One's forces here. We'll go through it while he kind of brings his units over from here. He's going to be taking the high ground here, making Obi-Wan proud. Very defensive formation. So the miners with blast and charges need to be careful. They want to throw their blast and charges into the Skinks. And this is what I do. I actually love this play by Chosen One here. Keeping these guys in the secondary line. A lot of people use miners in the front line, but that way they tend to only get one blast and charge off. And up against someone like the Lizardmen, you really want to get both blast and charges off, nuke Red Crested Skinks and so forth into the ground, and then you can pull them back to protect your back line or filling gaps in the front line. We have a ton of Longbeards mixed in with Dwarf Warriors as well for the front. We have Gotrek. Hell yeah! Gotrek is going to be here. Badass, getting a bit of a suntan here in the deserts. Of course, anti-large, unbreakable, absolute beast of a combatant overall. Going to be a tearing monsters apart. We have Grombrindle the White Dwarf as well. So 2 legendary heroes here. He's of course going to be coming with his smoke bombs, and of course Grombrindle knows no fear. We have 1 cannon as well, just to entice the Lizardmen forces in, keep them honest. Some Thunderers, and up in the skies, 1, 2, 3 Brimstone guns. I really like this Dowey pick. I think this is a very powerful army, but again, if the Kroxigor can get in there and get protected against those Brimstone guns by the flying elements here, which is going to be pretty tough, it is a 2-on-3 instance here. But if those Kroxigor can get in here with their paddles, they will smack down a ton of this army with only 1 unit of Thunderers to really counter them. But of course, Dragonback Slayers can do a decent job as well. Looks like these guys are saying good luck, have fun, which is always good to see. Both these guys, top sports, been on the channel quite a lot before as well. There should be some good fun. So these forces do start to move up here. Feral Stegodons as well, lumbering forward, looking absolutely majestic here. They do plod forward. They always look a little bit pregnant in the way they waddle. Cannon getting some early shots, trying to maybe target the Hawk Sentinels there. Perhaps that was just some wild shots at the Kroxigor Ancient. Who knows? The forces of the Lizardmen are going to be forced uphill now. Looks like we are all good as far as white line goes as well. Plenty of room to wrap around both sides. Of course, we are playing attacking roles. Cannon is firing, and the Gyrocopters, of course, moving forward for some nice early skirmish. Hawk Sentinels and Pterodon Riders, or Ripodactyl Riders, sorry, going to have to be on point here, scaring off these Gyrocopters, as they will do really nice damage now they do that bonus versus large onto the Kroxigor. The men going to want to close the distance as fast as possible. Of course, a Manticore Summon could be quite clutch here. Dropping to the back line. Oh, it looks like we actually have 2 units of Thunderers. But they're pulling back here and tearing these guys apart. But of course, Dragonback Slayers, Gotrek, it's going to be a tough box to break. Up in the skies. The Riptidactyl's desperately trying to hop on top of the Gyrocopter, but really nice play here by Chosen One, separating these units, getting really nice crossfire and pushing these guys down. But unfortunately, I don't know if Flying Taco has too many options here. He needs to hunt these guys down and stop them shooting his key targets while they do advance, and just try and close the distance as quickly as possible. We're going to get a nice wrap here coming around, but of course he doesn't want to attack in little blocks. He wants to attack as one and really try and break that Dowie formation. Perhawk Sentinel's taking a ton of Overwatch fire now, but at least it is forcing the Gyrocopters to target these units instead of the Croc Skulls and so forth. But it looks like one has managed to pop into the back here. So we're getting some nice fire down to these poor boys. Doing some okay HP damage. Looks like some of those shots actually did miss there. And the Force Lizardmen are starting to come to a clash here. Saurus Warriors and Skinks going to struggle here. The basic Skinks going to struggle to break through the units, but again, the Swarm could work. They could hop on top of Thunderers, and there's some nice gaps opening up as well. Pterodon Riders going down here by the dozen, being pulled apart. They've managed to catch some of the Brimstone guns. It looks like the Riptidactyls as well, hot on the heels. Miners coming in with blasting charges, but again, not going to be doing too much damage up against Saurus Warriors. Really want to focus those guys down on Skinks, and in come the Croc Squad. And it looks like they've managed to reach the front lines relatively uncontested here, which is good for them. They're relatively healthy. We pop in here, trying to tear apart these guys. Go off Sotek, popping Refusal Type, and taking massive damage here from the Croc Squad, who do push through, and the Ferrostegodons instantly into the back line, hunting down Thunderers left, right, and centre. Looks like some blasting charges are being thrown back here, but that is not good for the Dowie, as they're taking quite a lot of friendly fire here. Cannon is being pulled apart. I do hear a Feral Manticore summon as well. Probably going to be using the back line to hunt down troops. Brimstone guns certainly going to own the front lines in the sky. Gotrek was being dragged into some Saurus Warriors there, but he needs to get back and start hunting down at these Feral Stegodons. But most importantly, where is the man himself? The Croc Squad agent here with Amulet of Itzel popped, trying to gain action there up against Grombrindle, but unfortunately he's just standing there roaring. Amulet of Itzel unfortunately popped a bit too early there, not actually going to get any value as Grombrindle does come charging, and we have a mighty battle here. Grombrindle turning his back on the Croc Squad Ancient, not thinking he's worth his sight. And he's taking a bit of a pounding here, getting absolutely hammered down now, going to have to retreat back. Probably been Grotech over here as well. He's been hunted down here by the Feral Manticore, not a bad idea. We'll do some decent damage and at least tie him up and allow these Croc Skulls, who have bunched up a little bit unfortunately, to really start hammering down that back line. Brimstone guns doing some decent damage, but they are being chased now away by Riptidactyl Riders. And in the back line, Feral Stegodon doing a really good job breaking off the Dwarf troops. Now, the problem with taking a defense position in the corner such as this, when your troops do break, they're very unlikely to come back. But I suppose there's a little bit of distance here overall. Up in the skies, one Gyrocopter has been compromised here. Going to be torn apart very quickly here by Riptidactyl Riders. Very good at taking down armoured foes. In the back line here, we do have the White Dwarf and Gotrek, who has been flung into the front lines there. Grombrindle Knows No Fear has been popped though, keeping all the Dowie units fighting. Feral Stegodon there, trying to get a bit of revenge onto all the big dinos that Gotrek has fought in the past. Croc Squad Ancient looks like he's on a bit of a warpath here. Nice and bloodied, up to 2 kills. We've been going after big targets. He's going to be swooping here and here, going after the White Dwarf, and he is doing some serious work on this guy. Feral Manticore as well, of course, assisting. Grombrindle is currently unbreakable, holding the line, but with him going down, it's going to be pretty damn tough. Lizardmen, though, starting to lose a little bit of steam. A lot of their Saurus Warriors and Skinks have been dragged off. Really nice pick in the back here, though, by Taco taking down the rallying cannon crew here, ensuring they don't get back to the main fight. And a nice cycle charging coming in by this Ancient, really starting to pay. And Grombrindle is terrified. Grombrindle does indeed know fear. And with a nice stomp there by the Stegodon, he does in fact go down. Brimstone guns now can focus down at the Croc Squad Ancient, which they probably should have been doing for a little while longer perhaps. They can snipe him down and take away their leadership, but with just 2 units, with the Riptidactyl Riders managed to shatter some of those Gyrocopters, and army losses does in fact set in a little bit early there in my opinion, but still not bad at all. And it looks like the Lizardmen just had too many forces, with the Manticore summons as well helping push that balance of power. Yes, silly dwarfs, so many dead stunties. GG. That was a great game. That is a real masterclass on the power there of how the Lizardman can actually overcome and destroy the Dowie. A lot of people think it's very one-sided in Dowie's favour, but I think it's a lot more even than people think. Perhaps still slightly favoured in the Dowie's forces. Now, I really actually quite like this Dowie build. I think it definitely had the tools to succeed here. Gyrocopters, though, got forced away, couldn't really get their value. Probably needed to snipe out the Croc Squad Ancient. They can drag him down very, very quickly. But really nice play by Flying Taco. And, you know, it's easy sitting up here kind of casting these games saying, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. But the micro is so heavy down there on the field, especially when you come up against players such as Chosen One and Taco. But Taco getting revenge here. for that final loss that he lost last time. I believe he may have even gone 2 up in that final before losing. But nice bit of vengeance here coming through in the semi-finals, and he will be meeting the King of the Dead in the finals, who was already here. But, welcome, welcome. Oh, let's just say GG. Well played to both competitors there. That was really good fun. And here we are. So, I'm going to Glacial Lake for the map. I still don't have the camera sorted for this, but we are going to flip a coin to see who picks and bans first. So, heads, Flying Taco. Tails, King of the Dead will pick first. And it is Tails. King to pick and ban first. I do have a face cam, like a webcam, but I don't want to remove it from my computer and kind of move it around and everything. Let's update the scoreboard and then I'll come out and chill with you guys. That was a 2-0 to Flying Taco, but certainly hard fought and well contested by Chosen One. A true champ who's going to be bowing out here and you know, losing his title here of Death Before Dishonour, but still very, very well played indeed. And let's pop down here and add King of the Dead. This has certainly been some series so far. So here we go, and of course this is best of 5. He's going Tomb Kings and banning Skaven and Beastmen. Certainly doesn't want to get swarmed, it would seem. And remember, this is a best of 5. Cool. Glacial Lake is going to be the map. Nice close quarters here. And I will come and chill out with you guys briefly. I see a lot of GGs. Loopy, great to see you around, man. How's it going? Love to get you back on some of these streams as well. It's over! The Croc Squad have the high ground. Going through. Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through. Seems like I missed quite a lot. But looks like you guys are all having fun. Go Trek, indeed. Go Trek is the best, man. I love Go Trek. But yes, who is your money on then in this final? Should be good fun. Can the mighty Flying Taco drag down the King of the Dead, or will the Undead raise victorious? Oh, okay. Dowie versus Tomb Kings. This is going to be a fun one, guys. Your Shopty Great Bows will certainly be sniped out by bolt throws and so forth if they can get into range. And again, though, King of the Dead, probably one of the best players in the game, I would say, at backline harass. There's a few of them up there with him, and but his hound play, his skeleton horseman play is so disgustingly good at microing into the back lines. Those brimstone guns really let the Dowie down. Unfortunately, they did a little bit. They didn't get their value in the end of the day. They certainly had the tools there to drag them down. But the brimstone guns couldn't quite get enough targets. Really nice crossfire early on the Pterodon Riders and the Ripidactyls, but he couldn't quite bring them down. And they were kind of being hunted while the rest of the game was going on. But it's really hard to obviously micro those guys whilst you're trying to manage the front line as well. No, this is the finals, Arasademos. This is the finals. That was the finals. Last time it was Chosen One up against Flying Taco, and Chosen One did manage to win. Shidoku, how you doing, man? Hope you're all good. Hope everyone is having a fun time. The Dowie sad face. Great to see so many ODM members here. And I actually need to speak to you guys soon, actually, the ODM members. We are going to be trying to do some clan wars soon. So we're going to take a tiny bit of a break between Death Before Dishonour Season 3 and Season 4, probably just for a couple of weeks, and we're going to do some clan wars. So we're going to try and get DBD fighting Extreme Meme Team, maybe also ODM, and also try and get those guys fighting each other as well. And maybe even get the RTK clan in as well. Should be some good fun. Looks like King is ready. He move taking his time here, focusing. Ready in his dwarven mind. And, or Flying Taco, sorry. And we'll see. Let me appear different people cannot protect their backlines. That is true. It can be very hard to protect your backline, but even against King, like, even if you are really top tier players, you usually struggle to protect their backline. But it can happen. Mammoths. We demand mammoths. Sorry for the squeaking guys there, just tying up the water flask there. So, let's get into it. We do have the mighty flying tackle here in the forces of the Dowie. Have a quick look through. Looks like a very early battle would kick off there. So we have, oh, this is glorious. This is glorious. The Flame Cannon. I actually really love this pick up against Vampire Counts, Tomb Kings. It can work as well. And really nice deployment here. Going to be using the big hole here for a bit of protection. In the front line, we are going to have miners with blast and charges. Those satchels certainly do a good work on the relatively squishy Tomb King forces. Sorry guys, I just clear my throat a little bit. We also have Longbeards, and some Dwarf Warriors as well, mixing with some Great Weapons as well, so a nice mixed force as well. Mid to low tier troops. We have the Dragonback Slayers mixing with some regular Slayers and some Giant Slayers, so 3 units of Slayers. It's like I've been seeing more and more is kind of large amounts of Slayers, and it can work very well and very effectively here. Up in the skies, we do have some Gyrocopters. We'll see how these guys fare, if they fare any better. 2 basic units, none of the Brimstone guns, which is a bit sad. We also have Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, who I've seen a lot of competitive people picking recently. For ages, it was just Rune Lord after Rune Lord after Rune Lord, but I think Grombrindle can certainly hold his weight and is a fantastic duelist overall. Looks like we have some Thunderers as well, so really fun build overall. Now, for the forces of King of the Dead, front line of Nekakar Warriors and Skeleton Warriors, nice mixed forces. We have some Carrion up in the sky, Nekakar Horsemen on the flanks, and then the dreaded Chariots. 2 Skeleton Chariots, as well as Cetra the Imperishable. We also have a Necrotect on top of a Chariot, and a War Sphinx. Those Chariots certainly do some really decent work up against the Dowie if they can get to grips with them. We also have Skeleton Horsemen as well, all in the back lines, doing some nasty sniping. Flame Cannon really laying out the whooping here on these Nekakar Warriors. Doing some really decent work. Unfortunately, the second volley clips the ones at the back a little bit. They probably need to switch targets and just work their way down the line. Gyrocopters do go forward here, trying to get some early sniping. They're quite a good answer to Chariots and so forth. Although I'd rather have the Brimstone gun version. The Carrion are going to chase them. One unit has plopped down now on top of the Flame Cannon, but some Slayers are here. Need to force these guys off as quickly as possible. And a really weird formation coming in, kind of a box formation. Using the nice hole here as well for a bit of protection. But in comes the War Sphinx, hopping into the back line, but the problem I have with the War Sphinx is some of its attack animations, such as that one, bound it really deep into enemy lines, and often you'll see Slayers in the back line. So if now managed to trap it in, it will do some really fantastic damage. Up in the skies, Gyrocopter is being pulled apart here by Karens, which is a bit unfortunate. But apart from that, Dowie formation being relatively well held here. Unfortunately, these miners not going to be getting off their blasts and charges as Nekakar Warriors will hop into them. And a nice rare attack as well coming from these horses. Looks like they did manage to turn in time. Going to be running them down and trying to break that formation as quick as possible. Chariots, the Chariot Goon squad here coming in with Cetra. Going to be running over people, but they are met here by the Dragonback Slayers for a good answer for them. The Thunderers need to turn and start getting some shots away. It looks like they're desperately trying to protect their Gyrocopters up in the sky. But pressure coming in from so many different angles here, starting to overwhelm the Dowie box here. Flame Cannon as well needs to get shooting. It's just facing in the wrong direction now. Up to 62 kills. Needs to turn and start really assisting in this main gun line. In the back line, these Longbeards can probably be pulled forward into the centre pocket, trying to trap in the Chariots and do some serious damage. Where is the White Dwarf? It looks like he's trying to snipe out the Necrotect. He needs to be in the back line here, dropping those smoke bombs on Cetra and these Chariots, and trying to drag them down. Flame Cannon, though, once again back and active. A bit of friendly fire, but at the same time pulling down some Skeleton Warriors. And to be honest, miners are there to die. Grombrindle knows no fear has been popped, making sure everyone is unbreakable, which is a really nice ability in general. Gyrocopters, looks like they're firing at the horsemen now, trying to take away some of the mobility. And as we saw in previous games of the Dowie, you can never count them out. Yes, the undead managed to break into their back line, but if you have a quick little look now, Flame Cannon back active again, Thunderers almost back active as well, so it actually went pretty good for the Dowie, and they are starting to stabilise in the front line as well. We can see the victorious Slayers going up against Nekakar Warriors, not really where they want to be at all, but Grombrindle holding the line gloriously, glorious! Lifts his axe victorious up above his head and slams it down onto that War Sphinx. Giant Slayers have come in as well, but we're going to see some late game Chariot play, and Chariots get better and better as the game goes on, as they can clear up broken units, break units very effectively with cycle charging, and as you can see, they simply swooped back into this box formation and have broken off that poor flame cannon. 103 kills though, certainly did do some damage. There's a relatively healthy War Sphinx as well. Cetra still on full health, and I think this is going to be a bit tough for the Dowie, but we'll have to wait and see. Balance power currently is in the Tomb King's favour here. The War Sphinx is getting a nice restore on it as well, keeping it fighting. There's not too much left to bring it down. We do have some Slayers, I believe. 18 Dragonback Slayers over here, and some fighting in the front line. But that is a very healthy Sphinx. And yes, Slayers are fantastic at destroying big beasts, but they will take damage in return. A lot of the Dowie forces here need to rally and come back to the main fight, otherwise Chariots will run them down. But of course, a ton of micro going on by both players. In comes the Sphinx, tries to knock down Grombrindle, but Grombrindle holds firm, gets in a good slap before he does get pulled down. And in comes the Necrotect as well. A Smoke Bomb could be really key here, if he does have one. Could possibly pop in this Necrotect and hunt him down. We do have the Gyrocopters relatively active, and some miners throwing in some blaster charges, which do finish off some Skeleton Warriors. And there's still a fair amount of Dowie on the field. Flame Cannon has raid as well, but it's going to be a bit tough to get back to the actual Flame Cannons. Necro Horseman hunting down troops, and Necrotect riding dirty in his chariots. So just good luck, have fun. I don't know why that always appears so late in my chat. Grombrindle trying his best to hunt down the War Sphinx, but he needs to smoke bomb that guy if he can. But there's so many chariots still left running around Roman. Perhaps some Trollhammer torpedoes could have helped bring those guys down in the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin or so forth. But again, they might have been able to overwhelm the kind of push into that back line regardless. And Cannon crew darting their way, trying their best to get back to their beloved artillery pieces. But once again, Skeleton Chariots used so effectively here. Chariots are so good up against Dowie, pushing through those formations and dragging them down. War Sphinx as well going to be used on the periphery here just to hunt down troops, ensure that none of them come back into the main fray. Balance power heavily against the Dowie at this point. So they try their best to... They have managed to pin in this Necrotect here. Grombrindle should be able to get a few good slaps in with the Dowie trying to drag this Necrotect down. A Flash Bomb does come in as the War Sphinx pops in as well to try and protect the Necrotect there. Force a lot of these Dowie Warriors onto the floor and perhaps allowing the Necrotect a path of escape. And in come the Shopsy Summon as well. Left there in the back pocket. That's going to push the balance power over. And GG's. Very well played as King of the Dead comes in here and manages to get the one-up over the Extreme Meme Team's Flying Taco. Really good fun there, though. So we just have some of the Slayers fighting in the depths there. GG's in chat. Always good to see good sportsmanship. Both these guys, some really good competitors. And it's going to be 1-0 in this best of 5 series. We'll have to see what Flying Taco does to retaliate here. Will, of course, be his turn to pick and ban. But yeah, love the Flame Cannon, for one. 103 kills, did some really decent damage. I'm not going too heavy either on the range. Allows you to protect that back line a lot more. And I actually quite enjoy this build quite a lot, but unfortunately, King of the Dead, so good for that Chariot play, and they got some super, super good value. 65 kills on Necrotect, 46 on Cetra, and that War Sphinx as well. Roamed around doing some pretty decent damage, but as you see, both Chariots, 95 and 78, against relatively elite troops. Yes, there are the miners, but apart from that, Longbeards, Slayers, and all that good stuff. So we are going to be playing on my favourite multiplayer map next, which is River Amaxon. I thought this map would be a good place for Flame Cannon. I think the Flame Cannon did pretty good. I think it did pretty good indeed. But anyway, let's update the scoreboard and I can come and chill out with you guys. So King of the Dead is up 1-0 in this best of 5 finals. What do you guys think of that? Looks like I've missed quite a lot in chat, unfortunately, as always. The ODM players are the good players, hehehe. Is Ninja Hunt ODM? I'm not quite sure. I'm scrolling through now, see what you guys were saying. Is Zyphos good too? Zyphos is disgustingly good. I forgot to mention him, but this is what I'm talking about. There's so many players, so many good players that can win kind of on their day. That, you know, it's... I'm always going to forget someone. But yeah, Zyphos is very good. Although, technically, I've got a 100% win record against him. Don't want to brag. Played him once, beat him once. And I'm never going to play him again. Therefore, I can keep that very valuable record. Yeah, great to see so many of you guys chilling out. And I've all caught up with chat. Next map, Grimmenhagen. No, it is not, I'm afraid. It is River Amaxon. Hammongors needs to 1v1 Tyrion and win. That'd be beautiful stuff. CA, buff my factions and nerf faction counters. That is what I like to see. That is what I like to see, indeed. But yeah, Chariots, pretty abusive up against the Dowry. There's not too much they can do, unfortunately. Where is the Chosen One? Unfortunately, he did lose the semi-finals, but he was victorious in Season 2 in a really, probably the best best of 5 I've ever cast, up against Flying Taco. He won 3-2. But unfortunately, best of 3 format suited Taco a bit better there. Taco managed to win. Duck versus Ifo's grudge match, best of 7 now. It would be a very quick best of 7. He would. He's a far better player than me, unfortunately. Let's see what we've gone. So Taco is gone Tomb Kings, the mind games here up against King of the Dead. Oh, I don't know if he banned there before King of the Dead picked. I wouldn't ban Norska anyways. Okay, so we have very nice play by both players there. Looks like King of the Dead jumped the gun a little bit and picked a faction before Taco banned, but Taco coming honest and saying I wouldn't have banned that faction anyway. So we do have these two boys. River Amaxon, the only map named after a river without a river. But like, look, even here it has a nice, awesome river kind of flowing through. But that doesn't exist. It's fake. It's a lie. Unfortunately, it looks like there are some like dried riverbanks up on the side. I don't know, man. I've Ninja Hunt. I've never played against, unfortunately. ODM is everything. There's a lot Dwarfs can do against Chariots. It is true, actually. It is true. Slayers, you can Rune of Wrath and ruin them. Trollhammer torpedo them. There's multiple different things you can do, but they are very good in that matchup. I do hope Dwarfs to eventually get a little bit of buff as well, but there's so many more factions that need to come before them. Wood Elves, Beastmen, so forth. Alright. Looks like King of the Dead is ready. Trying to extend his lead here. ODM and Ninja, I love that. Oh damn. Best of 5? I mean, I'd happily do a best of 5 or a best of 7 up against Zyphos. It would be a whitewash, though. It would be very much a whitewash. Fortunate play against him. I don't know too much about Ninja Hunt, to be honest. I think he was bigger in the community before I arrived, so I've heard the name. But I don't think I've ever seen him really play in many tournaments even, so I don't know if he doesn't play anymore, what he was like. I've heard the name a lot, so I'm assuming he was a much loved and very talented player. But I do not know, unfortunately. Make it happen. Honestly, I would happily go best of 5 with any of the ODM members at any times, but they're very good. What's up, Maker? Don't think I've seen you in chat before. Welcome to the channel. Hope you do enjoy. And yeah, it looks like we've got a lot of new people here. If you guys do enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe and give a thumbs up and stuff. I don't like plugging myself too much, but it does really help out the channel, especially because we're quite a small growing channel. But as well, of course, thank you for... We've reached that 400 sub mark, which is pretty damn crazy. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's hop into this battle. So, Flying Taco playing the ultimate mind games and going Tomb Kings up against King of the Dead. But of course, King of the Dead should know all their weaknesses and so forth. We have Skeleton Warriors mixing with Skeleton Spearmen in the front line for cheap and cheerful chaff. Also, the Kepper Guard as well. Bit more of a solid backbone to those guys and some pretty decent damage dealers. Oh, looks like he's deploying all his troops at the back now while he sorts out his formation. For his leadership corps, we do have Arkan the Black here on foot. Pretty interesting to see him down there. And Necrotect Ark and the Black, probably the most competitive lord, up there with Cetra the Imperishable, coming in with Tomb Blade of Arkan, Staff from the Gash, Theobuna, Spirit Leech, all that goody stuff that you would expect. We do have some Skeleton Archers, the Hero Titan as well, which I've heard a lot of people call the Aero Titan, as he does bring it quite a lot, but I believe Flying Taco was the one who initially told him to bring it, so we'll see if this does work here. We do have the nasty very nasty sneaky snakes here, these Stalkers. These guys have pretty decent anti-large overall, and of course have Stalk. We have a Casket of Souls, which is a pretty fun unit and can do some pretty decent damage, especially up against lightly armoured troops such as the Norscans. We have the Eyes of Desert as well. Bit of a moving death blob then for the most part, mixing with some skeletons, and it's going to be overloading this flank here, trying to move through the trees. Now for the forces of King of the Dead, who is one up in this best of 5 series, we do have Norscan Warhounds. Sorry, my mind went a little bit blank. I was trying to think, what is this, best of 5, best of 7? Trying to sort it out there. We do have Marauder Berserkers there in the front line, which will tear apart Tomb King Infantry very quickly. Brutes of the Hounds as well. We have Frog. The big boy is here himself. I'm not the biggest fan of Frog personally. He can get nuked by anything which is fire damage or anti-large damage, but at the same time I have seen him carry games. We have a Skin Wolf Werekin as well, and a Familiar Balefiend of Fire coming with Burning Head and Fireball. In the back lines we have some Marauder Javelins as well, which can do some really fantastic work. Marauder Chariots and some Ferromanticores up in the sky, or is it just the one? Just the one. And we have a ton of Hounds on the flank. So yeah, Beast of Tashnar as well, really good pick. In comes the Castle of Souls, probably going to be hunted down at the Brutes of the Hound as soon as possible. Doing some nice early damage to those Marauder Berserkers. And Tomb King's going to be forcing their way forward, taking the high ground here, and really going to be trying to box in as much as possible. Still plenty of room to wrap around here. Looks like the Hound's waiting in the wind here, still hidden at the moment. And the Flying Taco is certainly going to wait in here, sitting back and just trying to do as much damage as possible. Marauder Berserkers taking a bit of damage, but nothing too game-breaking at the moment. We do have Northern Warhounds floating through the flank now. They have been uncovered though, so Flying Taco, if he's been keeping an eye out on his emblems that do pop up, he should be aware of these guys' existence now. And the box has started to form. Load of shots coming in onto the Berserkers still, but not doing massive damage to be honest. It's doing okay, but nothing too crazy. Up to 13 kills. The Norscan's going to be forced into this tightly packed formation here. Oh my god, what did you do? He is horrified here by this glorious position. All these Hounds are going to be floating around the back. Now, if you've seen any of Darth Play's recent videos, you'll understand that Hounds can actually tear apart units like Skeleton Warriors. If you attack with only 4 units in one go, it can do some real punishing damage before falling back. I do hear a Spirit Leech going down. Looks like it has hit the Skin Wolf Werekin. I believe that guy does have regeneration, so probably not the best target. But then again, we do have the double Spirit Leech. Of course, we have the Hero Titan as well, who has Shem's Burning Gaze. The nasty, sneaky snakes have managed to hop on top of these chariots, not been able to do the same value they did in the previous games. Instead, being really stuck in the back here. Sneaky snakes certainly going to make them pay, but a Burning Head is coming down and do fantastic damage to the Keeper Guard now, getting them down to nearly half health and also catching this unit of Skeleton Warriors. Might chip away at some Marauder Berserkers. Ooh, looks like for the most part they managed to dodge. 1 or 2 of the guys get a little bit toasty on the outsides, but really nice Burning Head overall. In the back line, Frog has thrown himself in there, being pushed back, but he's surrounded by the Eyes of the Desert here, who would love to have a little go at him. We also have the Archers doing some decent damage, but in comes the Ferromanticore, and a lot of these Skeleton Warriors just are sitting around just doing nothing at the moment, because they want to hold box, want to hold that defensive formation, but at the same time, it's just kind of wasted value at the moment. Castle of Souls has been found here by the Norscan Ice Wolves. It's kind of munching at the bones as they do swirl around. He's going to be going down relatively quickly. He's now getting some decent fire onto the Hunters, who he really wants to pull down, as they are some of the best answers to the Titan and so forth. Maybe Balefiend does have a Spirit Leech popped on him, and he's going toe-to-toe with the big monster himself. Frog desperately trying to hold in there, not actually taking too much damage. Ferromanticore looks like was the majority of the attacks were blamed onto him. But both the snake units getting very low on the health pin. It looks like the overload may have worked there. In the distance, we do have some returning Northern Warhounds who need to get back to the fighting as quickly as possible. Javelins as well, focusing down those Stalkers is really good value. And as you can see, these Skeleton Warriors are now having to be pulled into the main engagement, as it's a bit of a do or die moment here. Down here, looks like we do have the Summoned You Shopty. Doing pretty decent work, scaring off some Marauder Berserkers. Ark and the Black still very healthy as well, but Frog is going to be a nightmare to deal with now. The snakes have started to stabilise a little bit here. They're up against the Skinwolf Wereking, plus a Manticore, plus Frog. It's a ton of damage, and really nice Javelin play as well coming in. But a ton of Skeleton Warriors and Spearmen yet to get their hands dirty. You need to move in here and start pulling down some Berserkers. But these aren't the type of units that win you games. They're kind of more there for holding. In the back line, you Shopty have managed to track down these Marauder Hunter Javelins. These guys will simply be able to kite away. I mean, at least it drags them away from the main battlefield for now. But they'll be able to kite away into the distance until the Shopty disappear, then they'll be able to come back in and start pulling apart some of those larger threats. There's a really close game here. I'm not really sure which way to call it, but a lovely Burning Head once again coming down, pulling down some Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen. Did nip at the heels of some of the Beasts of Tashanar and so forth, but getting good value on Burning Head in general, which is just a really good spell up against the Tomb Kings. In comes the Frog and the Skinwolf once again onto the Titan, trying to circle around the Casket of Souls and pull that apart as well. The Manticore even pops down as well. Really nice engagement here for the Norscans. As for the rest of the battlefield, the Norscans have completely dominated. Down the shop to go, did some okay damage, but they do say farewell. And the balance power now going in favour of the King of the Dead here. Could he take this into a 2-0 lead? It's looking pretty likely right now. Titan's slowly being dragged down, but the Javelins have run out of ammunition here. Second unit as well, only coming in with, let's see, 2 lots of ammunition, so only 2 volleys left. Arc in the back, trying his best here, going after Frog, trying to break him off where possible. And if he can break him, of course the terror of the Titan would come into play and be really useful. But unfortunately, Beasts of Tashanar popping in as well, doing some really decent value. We do have some Skeleton Warriors to summon in, trying to saturate in here. And Frog is a little bit danger low, 2,500 health, but if he gets a little bit low in that department, he can simply fall back and regeneration up. He's hopping in here, trying to pull down the Titan, ignoring Arc in the Black, sorry, struggling to get my words out there, as much as possible. It has become one little bit of a blob fight. Balance of power very heavily now in favour of the Norscans, and the Titan slowly being dragged down, and when he goes, it's only going to be a matter of time. And of course, the Skeleton Warriors are simply summoned, so they will be disappearing soon as well. Marauder Chariots, really nice chariot play overall by King of the Dead throughout the tournament so far, getting some decent value, up to 35 kills. Frog falling back, going to be regenning, and probably doing some really nice cycle charging, trying to finish off the Hero Titan here. One big clop to the kneecap there, doesn't quite bring him down, it does stutter the Titan here, down to just 2,100 health. Arkan now, unfortunately, facing the wrath of the Frog Daddy himself, getting flung around and pulled down to the ground. We do have those Javelins who have returned, getting their last few volleys in, trying to pin down the Titan. Looks like they pierced him with enough Javelins. He does fall to the ground. We just simply have a Necrotect and Arc in the Black holding the line now. Manticore once again going to be coming back and swooping in, no doubt. But I don't think there's too much hope here. Frog probably just going to be doing cycle charging, as you'd expect into Archon, as he holds the line desperately, doing his best. Manticore comes in as well, but down to just below 2,000 health. But the real big thing here is going to be his leadership. Can he hold long enough? Frog coming in with a nice rear charge here. Probably going to get 1 or 2 big swings off, you would hope. Frog has such a cool model as well, with all the swords in the back, but I don't get to see him too often, unfortunately. So I don't really pick him, which is a bit sad. So we do have some Skeleton Warriors being summoned as well, but army losses do kick in, and that's going to be a 2-0 to King of the Dead. Can Flying Taco come back here? Who is your favourite except lizards by maker? Probably Wood Elves. Maybe not, they're probably not the faction I'm second best with, but I enjoy the Wood Elves quite a lot. I really like them thematically as well as lore-wise. So really nice attempt there by Flying Taco, going for the defensive formation once again and trying to lure in those big troops with this sneaky snakes, and it works really early on. Managed to drag down the Manticores, doing big damage to Frog and so forth, but King Dead eventually ground out that fight there. He is the Troll King! That's why he survived. Normally Frog dies in 3 hits from a Titan, but I think Werekin distracted Titan. GG. And we will be moving to Alpine Ridge here. Boom. I always pick Alpine Ridge for the decider match in this type of thing, so round 3 in a best of 5, or number 2 in a best of 3. As it's quite thematic, I think, both players trying to clamber their way up this hill to hold the crown high up above. And can King of the Dead do it? Can he work his magic here and take this to a 3-0 series, which would be very, very impressive here if he does manage to do that. I'm going to chat with you guys in chat now for a little bit, so any questions, feel free to ask. And I will try and catch up. Looks like I have missed quite a lot. Welcome, Aerocrastic. Hope you're doing all good, my friend. We were actually speaking about you earlier, being one of the top players. Super Saiyan lurks in every stream and never says a word. He's the master of all streams. He knows everything that's going on in one go. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. That's pretty funny. But this could be the final game here. So we've had a really awesome set of games so far. With A-Move, Hacker and King of the Dead going 2-1 in the first best of 3. And then Taco taking out the reigning champion, Chosen One, 2-0 in the last semi-finals. This could be the final game. Please, Lord. Please. Please. Don't let me face the vampirates. But the King of the Dead has no mercy, and he is banning High Elves and Empire. Don't speak too fast, we still have 57 minutes to go. Don't know where you got the 57 minutes from. Oh, from the game. Stark is the German word for strong. How Stark would certainly like that indeed. That is a fact, but it is not fun. But it is a fact. Oh, looks like I missed a lot of good stuff in chat. Let's see. Yay, Wood Elves! Wood Elves indeed! So I'm sure you're very proud of those Wood Elves. 0 out of 10, not enough puking. Gorbel can be okay, but not fantastic. It depends on the matchup. Titan saw a cute puppy and got distracted. That sums up my life, unfortunately. Every time I see a puppy, it's just like hello there. So, let's see what I missed. No! 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 Of course you can change it. Yeah, sure, man. He wants to change to the drowned, as long as Taco's sure of it, but he's fine. No, we have a undead off. I'm sure King Dead will hate me for saying this, but my least favourite factions are actually the undead factions. I don't play them too often. And they go for more of like a grind approach. I much prefer the hard-hitting kind of Lizardmen or the sneaky Wood Elves. Not sure what he has planned. I'm never sure what's going on in Flying Taco's mind, but he certainly has some wild picks, and he makes them pay off as well. But it's going to be interesting. He is 2 down here, so he needs this game. Perhaps he's hoping to get through and then use some of his bigger guns, such as the Beastmen. I think he's a very good Beastman player in these matchups. But it looks like, did he ban Beastmen? I assume so. No, he didn't. Interesting stuff indeed. Looks like King of the Dead is ready. We're just waiting on Mr. Taco. Can have a sip of my drink, so apologies for the squeakiness as I do release the loot. Crabs. It's all about the crabs. He wouldn't pick without a good meme reason. I don't think we're going to see Gorst here. There's no chance. I know we all wish, but I feel like it would be ridiculously risky. Cannons would just tear him apart. What can sometimes work is bringing Gorson naked, which I know is not a sight anyone wants to see, but bring him with no abilities at all, and use him as a bit of a distraction kind of fix, where you have other spellcasters dotted around actually kind of winning you the battle. I've seen a few people manage to pull off. Banshees versus Damned Paladins, that would be beautiful. It would be beautiful indeed. Box with the Gallows Giant is what I'm going to be seeing here. I definitely think we're going to see the Gallows Giant. King was using him earlier on to good effectiveness up against the Lizardman and was bigging him up in chat as well. So he's probably going to be a man of his word, stick to his guns. Go, go, Gorse. It's just not happening. I'm sorry. If we don't see Bloated Boys, I'm going to leave. No, Ronin, don't abandon me. Ronin, one of the OG Duck Guard here. Protecting me from all the nastiness of the world. Sirens can be pretty good here. I'm getting some words of wisdom from Aerocrastic. Now, if you're checking out my video, I'm 100% sure you know who Aerocrastic is. But if you do not, he is also a fellow YouTuber. I believe he might even have Twitch as well. But he's got a really good show, or like a podcast, speaking about the different factions. If you're a new player or even an experienced player, it's well worth a listen. Going to check those out to improve your game. He's certainly a beastly commander himself as well. So let's go through the forces of Flying Taco here, trying to drag this game back, or this series back, sorry. And he has gone for a Von Carstein Vampire Lord on top of such a cool looking dragon. Look how badass this fin looks. And he is going to be coming in with Storm of the Night, which is very cool. Raised Dead, Invocation and the Heck. Summons a Vargulf, that's very cool, forgot about that. And Pestilence Breath, which of course you expect. So we also have a Necromancer down on the ground. For his main battle line, it looks like we have the OGs, the MVPs, up here with the peasant mobs. We have zombies, and it looks like they in fact have a chevron, some of them, which is pretty glorious there to soak up the initial damage and charge. We have skeleton spearmen and warriors in a secondary line, and then we've gone relatively cav heavy here it seems. We do have the Feasters of the Dusk, rotating around, Crypt Ghouls of course they've got Stalk, Vanguard, all that good fun stuff. Then we have Black Knights, Verix Reavers, a very cool and thematic looking unit, who also have regeneration, and Hex Wraith, so quite heavy there on the cav contingent. We have some Crypt Horrors as well, who are going to saturate on top of those Skeleton Spearmen very, very nicely and be the real damage dealers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Fellbats as well, trying to claim the dominance in the skies. So let's have a little look at King of the Dead on an absolute roll so far. In the front line, we do have a zombie pirate deckhand mobs. And much like I believe as Aerocrastic predicted, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Sirens here. Of course, Ethereal. So they're going to be doing pretty good. They're going to have a lot of staying power as well. They don't do the biggest amount of damage output. And of course, their terror isn't going to count for anything here. But overall, a very solid unit. In the back lines, we do have polearms as well, protecting some squishy handguns, it looks like. The gunnery mob, sorry. Unfortunately, no bombers here. This is a very un-King of the Dead maneuver, but we do have the Gallows Giant gloriously spouting flames as it advances. We also have Count Noculus on foot, and a Vampire Fleet Captain of Death as well coming in with Spirit Leech, which is pretty interesting. So it looks like both forces are going to be clambering up the hill here. As Fellbats do swoop over, it looks like the Vampire's a little bit quicker. Should be able to get up there quite quickly. Now, where did the Feasters of the Dusk go? Wondering if he put them in Vanguard deployment anywhere. Yeah, it looks like they were over there hiding in the trees. Going to be trying to lap around here as much as possible. And now both forces can see each other. So, Fellbat's taken high ground. I really like Alpine Ridge. It's a pretty fun map. I know some people aren't big fans of it, but it's an OG map. It's from Rome Total War Warhammer 1. It's gone through a lot of iterations and changes since then, but it's a pretty fun thematic map indeed. To have one stray shot there going up against the Von Carstein Vampire Lord. I'm sure he's not going to worry too much about that. And Cav's going to have to try and find a home somewhere, but King of the Dead has a nice formation here. Got the polearms in the back line as well to try and scare off the Black Knights and so forth. But with effective cycle charging, they could certainly do some damage. It'd be quite nice as well to see them cycle charging in the front lines. But of course, if he brings some background here, King will probably alter his formation slightly. Fellbats looks like they're swooping in a little bit danger close. Saying hello to these gunnery mobs. Good luck, have fun in the chat, always beautiful to see. And Feast of the Dusk have finally been spotted as they start to close in. Nice patient play coming in here by Flying Taco. A lot of players rush in unnecessarily, but he's making sure he gets a nice surround with the Black Knights, Feasters and so forth before he commits to that frontline engagement. And in come the Skeleton Warriors up against the zombie deckhand mobs, the ultimate damp noodle contest. This is going to be a grindy one, but still, always good fun. And in the back line, it looks like Fellbats have swooped down on top of polearms here, maybe trying to completely nuke them out with the help of the Black Knights, while the Verix Reavers do hop in on top of these gunnery mobs. Really nice backline pressure there, coming in by the Taco Meister himself. Up in the skies, we have some more Fellbats being pushed off, but the Feasters of the Dusk being used really effectively here to drag down the polearms super quickly. Hex Wraiths as well, with an invocation of the Heck on them, it looked like. Although they're pretty much full health here, they're doing pretty good. Feasters of the Dusk already up to 15 kills, and in come the Crypt Horrors smash into this back line, surrounding the Gallows Giant very early on. We have a big blob fight underway. In the distance, we do have the Verix Reavers and Black Knights being forced back here. Really nice play of these polearms, doing decent work. Fellbats, though, are starting to feast on them now. And it's probably best to drag these Knights, pull away, use your added mobility, and crash into this side of the battle, ignoring this slow lumbering zombies over here. Looks like we do. Oh my god, that Von Carstein Lord is getting destroyed. Spirit Leech taunt popped on him. He can't escape, and the Gallows Giant wailing on him, doing huge damage here. And this could cost Flying Taco the entire series. The Gallows Giant punches really hard overall, and especially that taunt on him, he was getting dragged down heftily there. It looks like his leadership is slowly starting to stabilise. Maybe he can get some Invocation Hex and return to the battlefield late on. We do have a Varghulf summon as well, but he's surrounded by Sirens, not where he wants to be. And really nice sniping potential there coming in by King of the Dead. Balak Knights are sitting on their hind legs there. They need to come back and into the action. Unfortunately, the Vex Reavers are being dragged down, hunted down by Sirens and Polearms. They need to use their mobility and escape here. But I think King of the Dead, who's been on an absolute roll today, may actually be able to have this game. Bounce power massively in his favour here. That is party down to the Von Carstein Lord. Going down here, an overextended Spirit Leech, which doesn't increase damage at all, just increases the range, does manage to pull him down, and surely that is going to be game. King of the Dead played some phenomenal games today, and very justly deserved here if he does manage to drag this through. And never count out for the Mr. Flying Taco himself. It looks like, for the most part, his forces are getting dragged down, and still has some units of Black Knights and so forth, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Wait, what killed the Hex Wraiths? Where are the Hex Wraiths? I'm not sure what killed the Hex Wraiths. They seem to have disappeared. Sorry guys, it looks like I missed that one. My bemusement as much as Mr. Taco is there. And it looks like, unfortunately, Gallows Giant going to be doing a decent job. It actually hits pretty hard in combat, which is good to see, which King of the Dead was speaking of earlier. And he's going to be able to pull these guys down, and that is going to be 3-0. Very impressive here. Why did he charge the Cav into Unbreakable Halberds? It's okay to do if you shock charge them, like you charge in there, do some damage, and then pull out. You just don't want to stay there in sustained combat. But it can really work in bursting them down quite quickly and trying to break through their lines. But yeah, you don't want to be there for the long term, of course. Not Taco's best day. Unfortunately, Taco, a mighty champion, has now been a finalist twice, and unfortunately got pulled down here. King of the Dead not going quite undefeated. He had some very tough games up against A-Move early on, managed to just about sneak through, and well done. GG, well played. Let's update the scoreboard. Oh wait! Was that... Did King just win 3 games in a row or 2? He just won 3, right? I didn't update the scoreboard last time, I believe. I believe that was 3 games. Sorry, my memory is terrible. Please let me know. Grats to the King. Yes, okay, it was. GG's. Perfect. Rubber Duck, what is your favourite faction except Lizardmen? Oh, I said earlier, man, it is the Wood Elves maker. Definitely thematically, at least. I'm not sure who I'm best with next. The Dockmen, indeed. So, we can play one more on stream. But congrats to the King. King of the Dead is this season's champion. So very well played to King of the Dead. He had a long run at it here. You of course have to qualify. So normally what happens in a Death Before Dishonour season is we have 4 qualifiers, and the champion of each qualifier comes together to fight in the finals. We're going to be mixing it up a little bit next season. So we're going to have 2 of the qualifiers in the same format. So it's just 4 people, first come, first serve. You get in and you qualify. And then 2 where it's open to everyone. We'll probably run it on challenge and have a few more competitors. You did win 3-0. Yes, sorry, my mind there was a little bit warped. But very well played, King of the Dead. Absolute beast of a warrior here. Had some tough games, but managed to pull his way through. That engagement was catastrophic, and was indeed. That was a bit of a struggle, unfortunately, there. His Lord just got nuked so hard, and with that, it was kind of game over. What map do you want? So we're going to host one more game here just for fun. These guys want to try out some builds. So if you want to stick with and check this out, feel free. I don't think stream wants to watch it again. We can end it. It depends. Okay, looks like King Dead's going to go Dark Elf. So we're going to see a new build from Flying Taco. Cool. We have some Beastmen versus Dark Elves. Cool, cool. What map do you guys want? Let's just be a fun game at the end here. Hail the King of the Elves, indeed. Ronan saying, wait, what? Best of 7! Play me, Duck! Play me! V-Claw, definitely happy to play with you at some point. I'm probably going to go grab some food after this. But we could certainly do like a best of 5 or something soon if you want. We could both stream it on our channels. It's really good fun. V-Claw, don't worry, man. I'm sure you're a much better player than me, man. I don't actually get much time to play, unfortunately. Most of my free time that would be used gaming. I actually end up doing casting and so forth. But I am starting to do a few streams where I'm playing in them rather than just casting games and so forth. So the Come At Me Bro series, where I'll play quick battles, people can snipe me, and I'll get involved as well in some best of 5s and 7s and stuff. Because I probably want to hit the tournament scene a bit more coming into Total Warhammer 3. At the moment, I'm just mainly trying to grow the channel. Yes, yes. Z lady is a lot more elusive, indeed. Yeah, if you guys want to stick around, feel free, but the tournament is over. King of the Dead is this season's champion, so he enters the Hall of Heroes alongside Zach B. Sane, who won Season 1. The champion of Season 2 was Chosen One, managing to take down Flying Taco. Unfortunately, Taco, twice the finalist, didn't manage to quite beat King of the Dead this time, and the mighty King does carry. I'd say I'm good in some matchups, but clueless in most. That's a good way to play the game, man. Just play the factions you love. That's the best way of doing it. But yeah, man, we can certainly do some kind of best of 5 or best of 7 event, perhaps. I'm trying to think how we can cross-stream it between 2 channels, because I know you run yours as well. We can perhaps do some kind of event. I'm clueless when it comes to anything with Warhammer 2, says Pacta. That is a lie. That is a dirty lie. A dirty lie. Pacta is a very, very talented player. Particularly vicious with the Wood Elves, I've found. Cool. So let's get in here and see this little showcase match. So Flying Taco going back to his roots here, going for the Beastmen. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see them in that best of 5. He's gone for Ungor Spearheads in the front line, mixed in with a ton of Centicles, it would seem. Looks like they're all dotted around for now. So we do have Centicles, 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 Centicles. Razorgore Herds as well. We've already spoken about them quite a lot this stream, but great AP, good mass, pretty decent for their value. We also have some Minotaurs with shields. Oh, is that 2 Minos with shields or just the 1? Looks like both of them are the shielded variety. Gives them a bit more staying power. Great weapons, of course, do more damage, but these guys already pack enough of a punch. I think the shield variety are actually pretty decent here. We have Morga the Shadowgave, a couple of Razorgore Chariots, Brave Shaman of Wild as well, which you'd expect. Brilliant Vile Tide as well, which is quite nice to see. And, of course, Cygor Summon. Now, for the forces of the Dark Elves, probably the faction I struggle up against the most, I would say. We do have Dread Spears in the front line, including the Hellebroni, the awesome and chill dudes themselves, and their nice, lovely pink. We have some Witch Elves, a Bloodrack Shrine, Marathi, Death Hag, Master, all that good stuff. Knights of the Ebon Claw in the back line, lovely to see them. Slashers Harvesters, and also some Reaper Bolt Throwers. Looks like just the one, actually. Should be some fun. We'd like to have fun. Great to see that good stuff. Got an interesting build idea. Very interesting build. Going to be interesting to see how it plays. Unfortunately, Razorgore Chariot's really going to be punished here by the Reaper Bolt Thrower. Looks like the old wand is coming down as well, increasing the decent hits, but still all 3 Razorgores are active. And then they come crashing through the front line. Going to drag through Dread Spears. They need to fall back quickly. Slashers Harvester is going to be pinning them in, allowing the Dread Spears to get some pretty decent damage there. Those Sentinels wrapping around the outside here, and there's quite an opening here in the back if they can break in. Of course, that Master going to be pretty good at that backline protection, but he's quite slow on foot, and he's running over here to deal with the Minotaurs. So Minotaurs, heavy punch on this left-hand flank, trying to hop on top of the Knights of Ebon Claw and drag them down, but instead they're going to have to pull back here, escape those Witch Elves where possible, get the Ungor Raiders fighting them instead. Looks like we did have a very fat Soul Sealer going down, one of the most powerful spells in the game in my opinion. British on the Wild chilling it in the back here, and that right swing here. So Flying Taco hit both flanks very hard at the same time, leaving the front line a little bit exposed. And he's starting to overrun some of the Dread Spears and has now broken into the back line. On top of that bolt throw, and you'll see how quickly it goes down. Smashes Harvest as well simply cannot stand up to the sheer ferocity of the Beastmen down on this side. Some poor Dread Spears trying to hold the line, but the entire right flank here is completely collapsed. On the left-hand side, however, Dark Elves doing much better. They've done some decent damage to the Minotaurs with a good word of pain as well, and have slowly broken off some of the Beastmen units. But this game certainly going in the favour of the Beastmen so far, and there's not even been a single Cygor summoned yet. Units completely shattering on this right flank. So many fast-moving units, and the Chaos Spawn as well summoning in just to help finish these guys off. That was probably the manual one. Oh, the auto one, sorry, not the manual one. The back here looks like we're going to have some nasty spells from down, but the Razorgore Herds are in fact terrified of and broken. Minotaurs breaking as well. And to be honest, this is where a lot of the value of the Dark Elf forces are anyway. We have the Bloodbrack Shrine, the Witch Elves, also the Master, the Death Hag, and Marathi. And the Master's going to be pretty good against 99% of this Beastmen force. Of course, he's designed to kill those large foes. And we still have the Knights of Evanclaw as well rolling around, pinning in Razorgore Chariots here. Should be able to dispatch those guys with ruthless efficiency here. Knights of Evanclaw up to 18 kills, but they've done some pretty good value so far. And they're going to have to try and chase off troops where possible. But Minotaurs counter-charging here, and these guys come in swinging with their mighty cleaving axes, dragging down the Knights so fast here. You can see so many dead Dark Elves pulled from their saddles as Razorgores also enter the fray. It looks like, unfortunately, the Knights of Evanclaw are also... Are they rampaging? No, it looks like the Razorgores are rampaging there. And the Witch Elves probably slowly getting dragged down by sheer number here. It's going to be very interesting. The first Cygor summon that has come into play. Looks like he's being used to try and target down Marathi. Or actually, no, perhaps hunt down that Bloodbrack Shrine. And in come the Minotaurs as well. Minotaurs are a unit I really love, both thematically and in-game. They just look so cool with their shoulder pads and so forth. Going to be surrounding here the Knights of Evanclaw and the Bloodbrack Shrine, doing some pretty decent damage. And as you kind of expected, Dread Spears basically getting shattered all over the place. And I think this game most likely going to be going in the favour of the Beastmen, but a really lovely Soul Sealer. That is a big problem, of course, of bobbing up like this. Could turn it around. Soul Sealer is one of those abilities which can flip a game on its head very quickly. The balance of power as well is certainly inflated at the moment as well by that Cygor summon. Razorgore Chariots trying to pin in the Bloodbrack Shrine where possible. And Cygor using that big rock, and I've seen this guy use so much now as a close combatant summon instead of kind of throwing those rocks in, which is interesting. Probably depends on the matchup what I would personally go for. Minotaurs once again coming with some cycle charging, but the Beastmen, they have lost quite a few units. They've still got Centaurs darting around everywhere, and a full health Morga, the Shadowgate as well, coming in with Chaos Summon spawns is going to be very powerful. Looks like a second Cygor coming down, trying to push that balance of power over the limit here, which is certainly a viable tactic. You often see people bring the Manticore summon, the Cygor summon, plus the Chaos Spawn summon, and it can be really disgusting. Both the Cygors, though, pounding down this Bloodbrack Shrine, taking quite a lot of damage, but once again, another Soul Stealer coming in. Of course, won't affect the Cygors too much because they're going to be disappearing anyway, but getting great value and keeping Marathi certainly topped up here. Minotaurs running back in. Nice cycle charging so far by Flying Taco, coming piling in, trying to drag down these much more elite and heavier hitting units. Looks like he's trying to focus down the Bloodbrack Shrine, which is a good bet. And then you can kind of focus down the characters by sheer attrition after that. Minotaurs going to struggle though. There's a lot of anti-large properties here. We of course have Marathi and the Master and so forth, but again, there's not too much infantry left to drag down these characters. Bloodbrack Shrine just down to 204 health. Going to be charged off by Centaurs, you'd expect. Escorted off the field. Probably good diligent play by Flying Taco, I would expect. And if we have a look around, it's mainly just shattered units, so it is kind of what you see is what you get. And probably the balance of power is going to decide this one. Although the Cygor is starting to disappear, he's doing some pretty decent damage on the Master, who is currently terrified. And we do have another Chaos Spawn summon coming down as well, and that's going to be game. Pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. So GG. I really like our build. Super fast, hard-hitting build. Basically no infantry. Going for a bit of a Rohan build. And if you've seen any of my performances in Turin's recent King of the Hills and stuff, you'll know I do love a good Rohan build. But I tend to do it with the high elves where I think it's a bit more viable. But still, it worked pretty nicely there. So GG's, man. GG. Tear out indeed. I like the build. Quite a bit. Peace out. Peace out, man. Peace out, King. Thanks for playing, guys. It's been super fun. Cool, guys, we are going to leave it there. Any questions, feel free to ask now. I'll scroll through chat for like a minute or so, so I might have time to answer any questions. Of course, there is a lag. Thanks for the stream. Duck says, Flying Taco, no worries, man. No worries, man. Oh, he has disappeared, but no worries, Flying Taco, if you ever do hear this. Well played, dude. Being a fantastic competitor. So, guys, if you do want to play in events like this in the future, King of the Hills, tournaments, all that good stuff, feel free to join my Discord. That's where I do announce them. You can find that in the description down below. And of course, I also have Patreon, all that kind of good stuff. Feel free to like, subscribe, and just chill, basically. But, yeah. I stream sniped you yesterday. Oh, did you? I got you in quick battles, but you weren't playing. Yes, I mean, people do go under different names. I actually maybe need to start doing it a little bit. I've just had a few people recognise me, basically, which is an odd feeling. And I have like an unjust reputation because I won a King of the Hill a while ago on Turin's channel. I just had a good day, basically. And because I have a channel, people think I'm amazing. So everyone goes really try hard. And I'm just trying to chill out and bring random units like the power fist Croxigors and stuff. It can be a bit tough. When is my next tournament? It's not been decided yet. We'll certainly have at least another King of the Hill next week, and probably a Clan Wars next week, I would expect. But yeah, if you join Discord, I will keep you up to date. We tend to have probably between 2 and 3 streams a week, and then 2 and 3 videos as well. I do unfortunately work and stuff as well, so I would love to do this as a full-time thing, but it's obviously just not feasible at the moment. But cool. Usually have shields. Yeah, shielding Minotaurs can work very well. So, well played to King of the Dead. Absolute beastly competitor. It's kind of funny, I actually watched a previous game just before I streamed against him and A-Move, and A-Move managed to drag him down, but King of the Dead, he got that out of his head pretty quickly, got back in there, did the dirty work, and managed to win in a very good 3-0 series. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you all soon. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you soon. You are amazing, just not amazing at playing this game. Well, thank you. I'll take the compliment regardless. I will take it. But yeah, until next time, guys. Peace, and as always, stay awesome.